Firefighter Appreciation Night brought to you by Belfor Property Restoration here at Jimmy John's Field. It's a Thursday night matchup between the Hoppers and the Beavers here on the USPBL Network. Hello, everybody. Maybe a little bit earlier of a hello than you would expect here on a Thursday night. I'm Brendan Shabath. That's Teddy Rydquist here to bring you Beavers and Hoppers tonight. And Teddy, we'll start with the obvious news of the day. It's just about 5 o'clock where we're recording our pregame show. You'll be seeing this around 5:30, 5:45, much earlier than expected. We've moved up first pitch today a whole hour from 7:05 to 6 p.m. between the Hoppers and the Beavers because there are some storms coming in and they are not looking pretty. Expecting them kind of all over the place, anytime between the 7:30 and 8:30 hour, but we're trying to move this game up, see if we can get as many innings in. If we're really lucky, we'll get 9 in. Hopefully we get at least a full 5. We can get a complete game before this bad rain comes.
Absolutely, and that's something that we saw last night. We started to see some rain come down in the 9th inning between the Beavers and the Unicorns last night, and we were able to finish it. And you know, we have the Beavers back at it tonight, and last night it was tough sledding against Andrew Huffman from the Unicorns. Allowed just the 1 hit through 8 shutout innings. They did get a couple more hits in the 1 run in the 9th, but that Beaver lineup, beginning with the MVP candidate Chris Davis, looking to bounce back tonight.
And the Beavers saw that rain last night. That rain kind of came over the night. It was a very large lightning storm throughout the entire course of the night. The field was terrible early this morning. The grounds crew, we have to shout them out, did a fantastic job getting this field ready. Obviously still a little slick, still a little kind of soggy, but good enough to play baseball, and credit to them for getting us ready.
Absolutely, real team effort, and it, like you said, it started last night and it's continued all the way through the day today, taking us up to first pitch tonight.
So the Beavers with the loss last night to the Unicorns 4-1. Teddy, as you mentioned, 1 hit until the 9th inning. They would get a couple hits, get a run to scratch across. They lose 4-1 behind Andrew Huffman, who shoved last night. But that loss is big to get us into tonight for both the Beavers and the Hoppers, because that now puts the Beavers 3 games behind the Hoppers for 2nd place. And that's important here in the USPBL for those that don't know, because the 3 seed and the 4 seed will play on the first day of the playoffs. If you're in 2nd place, you get a 1-game bye. The Hoppers are firmly in that position right now. The Beavers need a win tonight to try to keep their hopes alive. They got 4 games left, including tonight. They sit 3 games back of the Hoppers. That loss last night really didn't help their chances to try to get back to 2nd place. Still have an opportunity, but it starts tonight.
Yep, it has to start tonight. You're right. They still have the opportunity. 2 teams separated by only 3 games in the standings. And for the Beavers, it was a tough one last night. The Unicorn team that was just 1-9 in their previous 10, so it was nice for Utica to get off the schneid. And the Beavers, they have to turn it around starting tonight.
And when you look at these 2 teams, they sit 3 games apart in the standings, but very similar offenses, where the difference is the Hoppers have been the best pitching staff all year long. And that brings us to Pierce Banks making his first start in his return to the USPBL. We've got a matchup of USPBL veterans. It's Pierce Banks versus Greg Lokinen for the Beavers tonight, right-hander versus left-hander. Lokinen, obviously the pitcher of the year in 2021, a fantastic year, an ERA right around 2. He was here for about half the season last year before joining some other independent leagues. Pierce Banks, on the other hand, he had a different story, a fantastic 2021 year, a decent game in opening day of 2022, and then boom, signed by the Twins. One of the 50 players who has been signed out of this league to the Minnesota Twins organization, recently released by them. He's back here in the USPBL. He threw 3 shutout innings on Saturday. He's going to get a start today. He'll get about 50 pitches, but it's really exciting to see these 2 guys who were fantastic in 2021, played here in 2022, to come back and face each other.
Definitely exciting to see, and it is really cool to see what the Minnesota Twins do with the USPBL here. For Pierce Banks tonight for the Diamond Hoppers, we'll see how far he can go with those 50 pitches. You know, you would think at least 3, maybe even into a 4th. And then, you know, Greg Lokinen for the Beavers, you know, he's a local guy as well. He's from Berkeley, and then Pierce Banks originally from Sterling Heights. So got a couple of local guys and a lot of USPBL experience on the hill tonight.
Absolutely, some USPBL veterans making their return here on Thursday night. Let's hope we can play 9. We're going to play as many as we can, but before that, we've got another commercial break. But when we come back, it'll be starting lineups and the Ascension pitcher comparison here on the USPBL Network.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood, because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network, Jimmy John's Field, where at the moment it's a little bit breezy, clear skies, partly cloudy, very humid. And this scene could look very different in probably about 2 hours or so. Brennan Shabath, Teddy Rydquist getting you ready for this game between the Hoppers and the Beavers. And Teddy, we've heard everything from 6:45 to 7 o'clock to 9:30 when this impending doom, it feels like, is going to strike Utica. So that's why we're starting this game a little bit earlier at 6 p.m. today here on a Thursday night and Firefighter Appreciation Night here on the USPBL Network. Let's take a look at tonight's presenting sponsors. Ascension, Belfor Property Restoration, Budweiser, Dave & Buster, DTE Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Jarbcom, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, McQuaid Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Refrigeration, Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, and United Wholesale Mortgage. We thank all our proud sponsors for everything they do for the USPBL. Ryan Kotke, manager for the Hoppers, and Ryan Mann, pitcher for the Beavers, are exchanging lineups at home plate. Let's take a look at the details here on your screen. We'll start with the visiting Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. As always, Teddy mentioned the MVP candidate for this year, Chris Davis. Leading off and out in center field, Rudy Ramirez, a rare defensive start. He's over at left field tonight, and he'll bat second. J.D. Stubbs gets the day off in place of Ramirez. He's the designated hitter batting third. Malik Bolin back to his home ground, first base. He'll clean up as usual. Ray Hilbrick is out in right field, batting fifth. Christian Ortega has started in every game of the 15 since he got here a little bit later in this year. He's over at third base and batting sixth. Marcus Judd is up the middle, per usual, at second base, batting seventh. Alex Crump has the duties behind the dish. He'll bat eighth. And Ben Wilcoxon is the shortstop, batting ninth tonight. As we mentioned in the first segment of the show, Greg Lokinen returning to the USPBL, making his fourth start of the year on the mound tonight against the second place 21-18 Eastside Diamond Hoppers. As always, Luis Acevedo, the second baseman and leadoff man tonight. Noah Marcoux, perhaps one of the best left-handed bats in the league, the designated hitter, batting second. Joe Burke is over at first base, batting third. Bryant Schellenbarger had a home run robbed off of his bat on Saturday against the Unicorns. He's in right field and batting fourth. Joey Califoot on the other corner, and the outfield and left, batting fifth. Anthony Flores splits them up the middle. The center fielder batting sixth. Whit Hughes, duties behind the dish tonight. The catcher will bat seventh. Todd Maddox is over at the hot corner defensively for the Hoppers at third base and batting eighth. And Alex Pup, the everyday shortstop, is in the lineup, batting ninth. They're led on the mound by Pierce Banks, who had a good 2021 season. Let's take a look at the Ascension pitcher comparison between Pierce Banks and Greg Lokinen. Now, those are the numbers just from this season. For Greg, it's 4 appearances and 3 starts. Banks threw 3 scoreless innings in his first appearance on Saturday against the Unicorns. That was in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings in relief of James Cole. So decent numbers right now for both of these guys. Obviously for Pierce, we need a much larger sample size, Teddy, before we can really judge him. But Greg Lokinen, the one that stands out, already quickly to 17 innings. It feels like out of nowhere he's that high. But 25 strikeouts and 5 walks. Really big number there. A good start for the lefty.
Yeah, 25 to 5, 5-to-1 ratio for Greg Lokinen, looking really good. And then Pierce Banks, like you said, this only his second appearance of the season. His first start, we talked about it in the pregame show, should be about 50 pitches tonight, likely 3 to 4 innings. Excited to see Banks go as well.
We've got many numbers from these guys from the 2021 season, a little bit from 2022, plus some of their other leagues. We'll bring it all to you. And this game should be a good one. Much needed game for the Beavers to win and their contention to try to at least maybe get second place before the playoffs. The Diamond Hoppers can clinch at least second or better with a win against these Beavers tonight. We'll bring you first pitch and more after the break. National anthem, we'll step aside, and then we'll come back, get this game underway. Hopefully we get it in quickly before the rain here on the US PBL Network.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
At Ascension, Michigan, we're committed to being your first choice for healthcare. Our nationally recognized heart program is the leader throughout Michigan in minimally invasive heart valve procedures. For joint replacement, spine, and cancer care, patients choose our specialists for advanced care and treatment. And we also excel in the things that can't be measured. Listening more closely, caring more compassionately.
Just about ready for Hoppers and Beavers here on Firefighter Appreciation Night. Thank you so much for joining us on YouTube, on Facebook, on My Michigan TV. Glad to have you here. Glad to be here. Doesn't sound like we'll be here long. We'll keep you updated on the weather. We'll play meteorologist tonight as we play broadcasters as well. Pierce Banks, 25-year-old native of Sterling Heights, Michigan, just down the street, ready to make his first start and second appearance here in the league. So Pierce, as we mentioned, 2021 and 22 here in the USPBL with these Hoppers. He played a year and a game in this league. He was here all of 2021, had a fantastic 2.52 ERA in 10 outings, all of them starts, and then pitched on opening day. It wasn't a great outing for Pierce actually on opening day a season ago, and then that same weekend it was announced that he was signed by the Minnesota Twins to go join them in the Florida Complex League, one of the 50 players that has been signed out of the US PBL to join the Twins. So Banks gets ready to face Chris Davis, Rudy Ramirez, and J.D. Stubbs here in the first inning. First pitch in right at 6 o'clock. Curveball, swing and a miss, and we're underway.
Banks, 25 years old, native of Sterling Heights, played collegiately at Division III Adrian College.
Banks was very good at Adrian. Was there for 5 seasons, long time. amassing 325 innings of work. Like a changeup missing up and away. 2-1 on Davis.
Big time collegiate workload for Banks, and it's a 4-pitch mix: 4-seam fastball, changeup, curveball, and the slider. And it all starts like a lot of pitchers with that fastball and the changeup. The slider and the curveball will play off of that.
That curveball is a big, kind of old-fashioned 12-6. Very hard to get on plane with as a hitter. Used it a little bit in that outing on Saturday against the Unicorns. The 2-2. Out to center. Charging is Flores. Going back is Pup. No man's land, and Flores reaches up as he overran it just a touch to make the first out.
Nice job there by Flores, communicating with his teammate, the shortstop Pup. It looked like Flores in center field actually got a little bit of a late break on that, but was able to recover and run it down.
So Banks in the minor leagues, about a year and a half. He pitched 20 games in the Florida Complex League with the FCL Twins. He had one appearance in High A at Cedar Rapids. It did not go well. Mainly all at the FCL. First pitch to Ramirez, way out in front of a curveball. No balls and a strike on Rudy.
There was that curveball you're talking about right there.
Oh, 1. Fouled away, no balls and 2 strikes. It was mainly bullpen work for Pierce in the FCL. He only made 1 start in his careers in the minors, and that was actually at Cedar Rapids in High A. A 5.26 ERA and 37 2/3 innings of work. 1-2, curveball up, and Ramirez just fouls it straight back to stay alive. One and 2. Fastball missing up. 91 from Banks.
Beavers
Primarily
got
where
3
he's been.
left-handed hitters in the top 5 in this lineup against Banks tonight, coming at him with a lot of lefties early.
Curveball misses low, full count. Payoff pitch. Fastball right under the zone. Not close, and Ramirez will work the first walk of the game. 1 on and 1 out for J.D. Stubbs. Here's the defense behind Pierce Banks tonight, brought to you as always by 3-Dimensional Services. Califoot and Schellenbarger are the corner outfielders, with Flores, who you already saw, in center. It's Maddox and Burke on the infield corners. Pup and Acevedo, the double play combination up the middle, the best double play combination in the league. And Whit Hughes catching the pitches for Pierce Banks tonight.
Stubbs, a designated hitter tonight for the Beavers. He played first base last night.
Not often do teams have back-to-backs in this league. It's inevitable, but it's, for the most part, they try to avoid it on the schedule.
Yeah, 3-game weekend for the Beavers.
On perhaps the biggest weekend of the season for a team that's trying to move up in the playoff standings and at least get a first-round bye. They're not out of it yet, but they need a win tonight. 2-0 on Stubbs. Takes high, fastball, 3 balls, no strikes. A good hitter's count for a good hitter. JD, 241 on the year. A couple of home runs as well. Taking all the way on the 3-0. Banks finds the zone with a fastball.
Rudy Ramirez over at first base, 7 for 7 in stolen base tries. Let's see if the Beavers want to put him in motion, try to apply some pressure here early.
Nobody runs more in the league this season than the Beavers. 3-1 up, and likely not having Ramirez risk it, with Banks struggling to find the zone. Back-to-back walks. That'll bring up Bolin, who did damage to this Hoppers team a week ago. Last Wednesday, hit home runs in back-to-back appearances to tally 6 and now 7 on the year, leading the Beavers.
A 40th game of the season for Bolin, 7 home runs, 27 RBIs. Those 7 home runs, second in the USPBL.
Banks struggling to find the zone against Stubbs and Bolin. Up and in with the fastball. Bolin thought about it, but takes it. 2 balls and no strikes.
Keep an eye on Alex Crump here, the catcher, see if, or excuse me, Whit Hughes here, the catcher, see if he might go out and talk to Pierce Banks here. Really struggling with his command.
Fastball, Bolin skies it to center. Flores camped under it. Ramirez will tag at second. Here comes the throw. It goes over Pup's head. Ramirez slides in safely. Runners on the corners with 2 outs now.
Good throw there by Flores, just a little too far to throw out Ramirez.
The fly out from Bolin brings up the only other 300 hitter in the Beavers lineup this year besides Chris Davis, and that's Ray Hilbrick. Ray on the season, .318, an OPS nearing 900. Guy who dominated the GLIAC before joining the USPBL. Takes a pitch outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
That's right. Hilbrick played collegiately at Purdue Northwest, and he had his first triple of the season last night. It was the first hit of the game for the Beavers. Came in the 5th inning against the terrific Andrew Huffman last night for the Utica Unicorns.
Banks set on the 2-0. Skips in. Good block by Hughes. Maybe. Wind kind of going foul pole to foul pole, a little bit more towards straightaway right field. Good for a left-handed hitter like Hilbrick, and a good hitter's count. The 3-0 taking all the way. Sees a fastball in the zone.
Outfield definitely playing Hilbrick to pull. You can see the center fielder, Flores, on the second base side of the bag there. And even out in left field there, well off the line.
Schellenbarger is deep in right field as well. Hilbrick goes the opposite way to left, sinking in front of Caliphate. It'll drop. Ramirez scores easily, and a 2-out RBI single for Ray Hilbrick puts the Beavers on the board first.
RBI number 11 this season for Ray Hilbrick.
So the walk comes back to bite Banks as Ramirez scores. The other walk, Stubbs, is now over at second. And that means Christian Ortega's at the plate. Not sure what the confusion is here. There's a small delay after that base hit from Hilbrick.
Home plate umpire looked like communicating with the Diamond Hopper dugout,
yeah,
the third base dugout about something.
And now he's talking to
now the first base dugout.
Dombrowski, who's the manager for the Beavers over on the first base side. Well, nothing changed as far as the scoreboard is concerned.
Regardless, we're good to go.
Yes. First hit of the game for the Beavers leads to an RBI, and Banks missing again with that curveball up. The command was not great for Banks on Saturday. Only 1 walk and 2 strikeouts, but was a little bit wild. That's the pitch that he dominated with for the most part. Found a lot of strikes with the fastball, and today it's just not the same. He's either been even or fallen behind in every count so far, as we're on to our 6th batter here in the top of the first. 2-1. Swing and a miss. That changeup pulled the string on it a little bit. Ortega swings over it, 2-2.
It's like we talked about at the top of the show, though. It was a tough loss for the Beavers team last night. They wanted to come out and get something going early after having the ice-cold bats last night, and they've done exactly that, having the run here, the RBI single by Ray Hilbrick in the top of the first. So a nice start for Birmingham Bloomfield.
A little 2-hopper. It's fielded over by Pup. Maddox charge. That goes into left. That will allow Stubbs to score. Just a very awkward spot. Maddox tried to pick it on the short hop. Pup went for the long one under Maddox's glove, over Pup's, and the second run of this inning.
And you can credit J.D. Stubbs, for the base runner, for making that happen. He played that perfectly. He waited and kind of lulled Alex Pup, the shortstop, to sleep, kind of blocked his vision a little bit, made that a tough play, and then scored himself. J.D. Stubbs making it happen on the base pass.
So an RBI single for Ortega on the strange bounce. Back-to-back two-out knocks that score runners. But the Beavers up 2-0 for Marcus Judd, who takes a strike. Judd behind 0-2. Banks in position to get his first strikeout this game. Right on right matchup. Runners at first and second. High and tight with the fastball.
Judd leaning out of the way of that one.
Judd just fights off 92-mile-an-hour fastball up. Staying alive.
Marcus Judd, 25 years old, 5'5", 170 pounds, from Davenport in Florida, and he played collegiately at Division II Edward Waters University in Jacksonville.
Fan favorite, player favorite, coach favorite in this league, all around good guy. Very fun to talk to about the game of baseball. I think he could make a very good coach one day. Knows how to explain all the little intricacies to those of us that don't understand it. Ropes that one foul, though.
Nice swing from Judd there.
The batting average hasn't been kind to Marcus this year. 183. Did have a grand slam the other day, and now a mound conversation. Looks like Pierce Banks needs some rosin. Gets it from assistant manager Mike Rice of the Hoppers.
Maybe having a little bit of some grip issues out there for Pierce Banks could explain the shaky command here early, and the rosin should help with that.
That rosin mixed with the sweat will give Banks a much better grip.
Combination Max Scherzer likes.
Yeah, maybe a little too much. The 1-2. Judd hit it hard again, but foul again. That's 3 two-strike foul balls. Judd will stay alive. He's seen 6 pitches already. Mike Rice is busy delivering the rosin, and now he's got to go all the way down to left field at the foul line and grab that ball that ricocheted off the barrier. Try the 1-2 one more time inside. It gets away from Hughes. Hilbrick thought about advancing to third, but gets pulled back. So now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Beavers really making Pierce Banks work. That pitch count rising here. We're only 2/3 of an inning so far.
He's only going to get 50 pitches. He threw 51 on Saturday.
Already nearing the halfway mark, yeah.
Ryan Cockey said he's only going to get 50 tonight. 2-2. Curveball out into right. Schellenbarger charging, going back Acevedo. It will be the second baseman, Acevedo, collecting the 3rd out. Beavers get 2 walks to come around to score, thanks to Ray Hilbrick and Christian Ortega. After 1/2 inning, it's quickly 2-0. Hoppers batting in the first when we come back here on the US PBL Network.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry. What are the odds that we're neighbors, where you've known each other our whole lives, and both tear the exact same things in this exact same knee?
So an ACL tear is an injury to the main stabilizing structure of the knee.
You want a good team around you, because then you know that what you're doing is going to help you in the long run.
My message to everyone who's helped me, thank you so much, because you guys helped me progress so much.
Also hearing it from a friend that's went through the exact same thing, I think sort of helps that know that there's a bright side at the end.
Greg Lokanen's turn against the Hoppers. Luis Acevedo, Noah Marcoux, and Joe Burke facing the 25-year-old native of Berkeley, Michigan. Lokanen has been a well-traveled pitcher back to the USPBL. He is the originator of the Georgia Gwinnett pipeline. There's so many guys from Georgia Gwinnett here in this league on both the Beavers and the Mammoths primarily. There were a couple last year. J.D. Stubbs, a former Georgia Gwinnett player. But Lokanen was the first one in the league. He spent 2 seasons there. Then came to the USPBL, as we mentioned, in 2021 and 2022. Was good in both of those years, was better in 2021, which is why he was the pitcher of the year that summer. Came back for 9 outings in 2022 before leaving to join the American Association and the Lake Country Dockhounds. And it hasn't really gone well for Greg since leaving the USPBL. In the American Association, had an ERA just below 10. Then was with the Washington Wild Things in the Frontier League for 6 games this summer. And the ERA was above 13. In his first 4 appearances this summer here in the USPBL, it's just above 4.
For the Diamond Hoppers against the lefty Lokanen.
3 pitches for Greg. 4-seam fastball, changeup, and that nasty knuckle curve that has kind of been his signature pitch ever since high school. Acevedo lifts one to shallow center, charging Davis. He will call off Wilcoxon. And Acevedo flies out for the first out, bringing up Noah Marcoux, hitting .400 in his return off the injured list. Here's the defense Marcoux is facing that's behind Lokanen. You saw Davis in center. It's Ramirez out in left. Rare start in left field. Hilbrick in the other quarter and right. Bolin at first, back where he used to be a lot. Christian Ortega at third. Wilcoxon and Judd up the middle as always, and Alex Crump is calling the pitches. Lefty on lefty. Marcoux takes a curveball outside.
Yeah, Bolin out in left field last night, moving back into first base tonight.
Bolin has pretty much just been a left fielder all season long for the Beavers. There's the occasional night like tonight where he does get back to first base where his roots are in both high school and college. Marcoux sees 3 outside the zone, and not sure Lokanen wants to feed him a strike here, as this guy has just torched the league since coming back from that hamstring injury late July.
Leading the league, .488 on base percentage, and he adds to it right there.
Taking all the way on the 3-0, and perhaps a smart decision from Lokanen. Marcoux, with that walk, has played in 21 games this season. He's reached base safely in 20. Pretty impressive stuff for Marcoux. Burke out to center field. Davis ranging to his left. Almost in the right center gap. 1 pitch and the second out off the bat of Joe Burke. Center fielder's busy. We had 2 flyouts that way in the top half of the inning, and now 2 that way in the bottom half. 2 down for Bryant Schellenbarger.
F8, a common theme so far.
Shelley had a 9-game hit streak snapped on Friday before getting to the midweek games. Had a good BP today. humid. Ball's been flying off of some of these bats. Schellenbarger was no different.
Schellenbarger for Mount Vernon, Ohio, and played in the MAC, the Mid-American Conference, for the Akron Zips.
There you see the wind favoring a lefty like Schellenbarger. He goes the opposite way on the ground. Tough play. Wilcoxon has to get it over there quickly. He did not get it in time. Schellenbarger is safe. Marcoux made it to second base easily. Just a soft dribbler, and an infield single keeps this inning alive.
Nice job there by the shortstop, Ben Wilcoxon, even make a play out of that. He was playing shaded up the middle, had to range to his right to field that ground ball and then throw across his body. But Schellenbarger just able to beat it by about a step.
Wilcoxon, maybe the best defensive shortstop in the league, and that's a tough play for even a guy like him to make. Just perfectly placed off the bat of Schellenbarger. Now Califoot digs in. Good block by Crump. Lokinen last started for these Beavers back on August 17th, just about a week ago. Fastball in for a strike, 1-1. Through a good 6 innings against the Mammoths in an 8-5 win for the Beavers. Against his former team, only allowed 4 runs on 4 hits, but struck out 10 batters in that outing. Strike 2, back-to-back fastballs.
Califoot having a nice season. This is 28th game, hitting .269, got 7 doubles, a home run, 9 RBI, and a stolen base.
Lefty on the 1-2. Outside, Lokinen not clipping the corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Lokinen at 14 pitches right now. We talked about it on the broadcast last night. Ideally, coaches like you about 15 per inning, so a chance to finish right around that number for Lokinen.
See if he can get it here, 2-2. And swing and a miss. The bat left the hands of Califoot.
Got it in style.
The Beavers will leave the field. First strikeout of the day for Lokinen. Strands a couple of runners, and the Beavers, after 1, lead it 2-0 here on the USPBL Network.
Ladies and gentlemen,
slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
With a transforming world, we can see how drastically the world is heading towards automation. And so, we need 24/7 surveillance and security systems for our homes and businesses to avoid any theft or breach of privacy. JARBCOM brings the installation of security cameras to the tip of your fingers with our state-of-the-art mobile app. JARBCOM also provides surveillance monitoring of your entire property with flexible options that offer a dependable solution to be scaled to fit any domestic or commercial need. Contact JARBCOM today for a free estimate at 800-369-0374 or look us up on the web at jarbcom.com.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Ready to start the second inning, and it was 38 pitches for Pierce Banks in the first inning. He faced 7 batters, 2 walks, 2 hits, and 2 runs to come across. We were told by Ryan Kotke before the game tonight that the pitch count was going to be 50. That was going to be Pierce's limit, and that's a little bit of a surprise to hear that number. As we mentioned, a guy who threw 37 2/3 innings over the course of 2 seasons in the minors. Last year, 2022, and half a year this year, pretty much in 2023. A guy who was a starter before he went to the minor league, should be tuned up to throw more than 50 pitches. And now 12 pitches away from that mark there's nobody in the bullpen for the Hoppers, which makes me think, Teddy, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe the game plan changes and he gets a little bit more than 50 tonight.
That's very likely. I'm leaning that way myself. No one in the bullpen, and he's got the 8-9-1 hitters, bottom of the order to start this top of the second.
First pitch to Alex Crump is a fastball missing up, I think. I was going to say in. Pierce asked the home plate umpire whether it was in or up, and it looked like it was confirmed up. Curveball. Crump hit it hard, but foul. Too far out in front of it. That curveball coming in at a whopping 71. Pierce doesn't throw too hard with the fastball, but when you look at that difference, high 80s to low 70s with his main two pitches, tough to time it up as a hitter.
Crump fouls that one off. Still 1-2. Crump getting the start last night, or getting the start tonight after his teammate Luke Stevenson got the start behind the plate last night. Crump, 24 years old, from Grand Rapids, and played collegiately at Murray State Racer.
Crump and Stevenson. That batter's box has not been kind to them this year. Crump 4 for 43 on the year. That's below the 100 mark. 1-2. This is on the ground. A short, high hop to the shoulder for Pup. Good adjustment on that weird bounce, and he throws to first to get the out. You add in Stevenson this season, who's hitting 127 with Alex Crump, who's, as we mentioned, 4 for 43. The combined catchers for this Beavers team, 113 average at the plate. They both add some value defensively. Stevenson's got a little bit of pop as well. He's hit 2 home runs this year. But that's just the kind of the one spot in the Beavers lineup where they have really struggled to find consistent production this year. It's from many of the catchers.
And then the shortstop, Ben Wilcoxon here, I mean, the 236 average, he's got limited extra base power. Some of those numbers don't jump off the page, but he is a terrific defensive shortstop. And then 8 for 9 in stolen base attempts once he gets on.
Guy who will hit for average, a little bit of extra base power, not a lot. Will defend like crazy, will run like crazy. And perhaps the thing for Wilcoxon, he's the epitome of the age-old saying, sometimes your best ability is your availability. Has played and started in all 39 games for the Beavers this season.
Got the old school no batting gloves look.
Swings and misses over the changeup. First strikeout of the night for Banks. Every time I look at that number for Wilcoxon, you know, whether it's a month ago, 24 of 24 games played and games started, now 39 for 39. I always think of him telling us his senior season in college back at Kentucky Wesleyan. Said he broke his throwing elbow, his right elbow, and played the entire season. He avoided the doctor religiously so that he could keep playing, because he knew if he went to the doctor, they told him he had to sit out for the rest of the year.
That's some serious mental toughness right there.
He's dislocated his thumb before as well, and just kind of plays through it all.
Chris Davis, you know, flew out to begin this game and did not have a hit last night, but he did reach base 3 times, drew 3 walks last night, and he leads the USPBL in bases on balls.
Good chance here on the 3-0. Know that Chris is looking to swing the bat, though. Takes a fastball in, 3-1. Davis, with the fly out to center in the first inning, is now 1 for his last 12 over the last 4 games.
Pitch number 50 there for Banks. I think the game plan has officially changed.
Pitch 51 skips in, and that's a 5-pitch walk to Davis. That's the 3rd that Banks has conceded tonight. So Banks got through 3 innings on Saturday, the 6th, 7th, and 8th, facing just 11 batters. Now he's here through an inning and 2/3, facing batter number 11, Rudy Ramirez. Swings and fouls back the first pitch.
Ramirez drew the first of those 3 walks his first time up.
We know the Beavers like to steal. We mentioned their league leading 56 steals on the year. Davis tied for the team lead with 8. A Beavers offense that has to be aggressive whenever they can, just because they have not had the offense a whole lot this season.
We saw Davis try to run last night, and Ramon Enriquez from the Unicorns actually threw him out. Only the 4th time this season Davis has been caught.
High and in on Ramirez with the fastball, 2 balls and a strike. Quickly, the weather's already changed. Sun is gone. Kind of gray skies now. Very
looking different.
Patchy blue spots above Jimmy John's Field. Weather typically comes in from left field over than the third base side. There's a good look at the skies. It was bright and sunny, what, 20 minutes ago? 5 pitches again and a walk to Ramirez. That's back-to-back walks with 2 outs.
4 walks now for Pierce Banks, 2 of them drawn by Rudy Ramirez. 2 innings, 2 walks for Ramirez.
And right on cue, Nikel Galatas has gone to the bullpen for the Hoppers. There is Galatas. Stubbs swinging at the first pitch, lifts it to the left side. Backpedaling Maddox, calling off his shortstop pup as he makes the catch. So the 2 walks don't do any damage, but maybe it does for Banks's pitch count and for his chance to come back next inning. Still 2-0 Beavers. Hoppers batting in the 2nd after this.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Time for the bottom of the 2nd. And when it's time for baseball, it's time for beer. Two Hearted Ale has been named the #1 beer in America for the past 4 years by members of the American Homebrewers Association. Play ball with the best. Two Hearted Ale, the iconic American IPA from Bell's Brewery in Comstock, Michigan. Please, as always, drink responsibly. So, bottom of the 2nd, 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Hoppers. That's Flores, Hughes, and Maddox going against Greg Lokinen, who ended that first inning nicely with his first strikeout.
Yep, Lokinen allowed a hit and a walk in that first inning, but no harm done. As you said, was able to end it with that strikeout of Joseph Califoot.
We were talking about the shortstop, Ben Wilcoxon, who has played and started in all 39 games this year. Anthony Flores has that same asterisk next to his name. 39 for 39.
Flores at .227 in those 39 games with 1 home run, 11 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases and 10 tries.
He's one of those guys who's not going to jump off the page, maybe even jump off the screen either. He's just quietly going to be consistent and serviceable. Plays a good defensive center field, runs the bases well.
Turned 25 years old back on August 12th.
Does have a decent amount of swing and miss, but walks a little bit as well. Has a good enough eye. 13 walks worked on the season. The 0-2. Curveball breaking under the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Flores laid off of it. Small sample size, but Lokinen has actually been better against right-handed hitters this year. And he gets a righty out here. Back-to-back strikeouts. This one looking as Flores goes back to the dugout.
Right on cue. Nice job, Greg Lokinen.
Whit Hughes takes a curveball for a strike. 3 home runs since the end of July for Whit. Did not have any home runs in the league last year and then just kind of exploded in late July and early August for those 3 in the last 7 games that he's played.
Hughes, nice size, 6'5", 210 pounds, from Emmett, Michigan. Played at St. Clair County Community College, SC4.
Lokinen is dealing right now. Again, ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Hughes just fighting off that curveball, kind of up and in.
Yeah, the early returns on Greg Lokinen tonight, very sharp so far. 23 pitches through an inning and a third.
Lokinen works the middle of the rubber, a little bit toward the third base side. Pitches from the windup, right back to him, and he makes the play. Bends down nicely to field his own position. 2 up and 2 down on the 1-3 put out.
Right back to him. He fielded that almost standing on the rubber, still right back up the middle. Greg Lokinen, a strikeout, and now fielding the position himself.
That brings up the third baseman, Todd Maddox. Got to talk with Lokinen before the game tonight. I was glad to hear that at least moving up the start time an hour didn't change his routine at all. Obviously just has to get to the ballpark about an hour earlier, but you know, some starting pitchers, their routine begins the moment they wake up. 9, 10 in the morning, something like that.
I think a lot of pitchers would rather have this than the alternative where if we were to start and then have a rain delay during the game and it would be an abbreviated out and cut it short for him then.
Absolutely. Greg has been working hard to get the fastball velocity up, the ERA down. The walks and strikeouts are exactly where he would like them to be right now.
A lot to like.
2-0, and Maddox lays off with the fastball in. 3 balls and no strikes. Right now, Lokinen averaging 13 strikeouts, excuse me, per 9 innings. And the walks are right around 3 per 9. There's walk number 2 this start, though. So Maddox awarded first base with 2 down for Alex Pup. Lokinen specifically pitching from that windup. He's kind of an old-fashioned guy who brings the ball above his head.
Arms up over the head, yeah.
As a part of his windup routine.
It's almost like a hybrid stretch/windup. It's kind of an abbreviated windup. And now he'll have to work out the full stretch here, of course, with a base runner.
It's always interesting to talk to the pitchers and learn about the mechanics and just what little difference it can make in velocity, in spin. Pup hits this one deep left center field. Davis going back. Davis to the track. That's at the bottom of the wall. Gets away from Davis. Being waved around is Maddox. Pup goes into second base. There will be no throw. And Alex Pup with a huge swing to get the Hoppers on the board. It's 2-1.
Second double of the year for Alex Pup and his 12th RBI. Crushed it to straightaway center field. One hop off the wall, off the Sunbelt rental sign. Chris Davis ran after it and nearly made the play, but not quite. 2-1 now here in the bottom of the second.
There is not anybody on this Hoppers team who needed a swing like that more than Alex Pup. He hit 2 home runs at the end of June in back-to-back games. A guy who he simply doesn't hit home runs. Pup hit 1 home run in all of last season. Before today, and since those back-to-back home runs, or home runs in back-to-back games, I should say, Pup had gone 13 for 80. That's 163. With 10 walks and 18 strikeouts.
Could be the beginning of turning the page right there.
He was just not himself at all. You could see it in his body language and his demeanor. Just didn't look comfortable at the plate for all of July and here into August until tonight. Acevedo takes a curveball on the back door. Good pitch from Lokinen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And now Pup with a big swing. He's someone that, if he is on, both defensively and offensively, at this time, late August, heading into the playoffs, you have to watch out for the Hoppers lineup. Strike 3 called. Acevedo looked like he just didn't see anything from Lokinen. Got him with the fastball outside edge of the zone. That's the 3rd strikeout for Lokinen. Hoppers get one back, though, off the bat of Alex Pup. It's 2-1 as we head to the 3rd.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood
and reset our life around zapping stuff and cheering for stuff with your friends. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
Fifth Third Extra Time helps you do you better. So kick back and relax. You have extra time to avoid overdraft fees. Fifth Third Extra Time. This is making a Fifth Third better.
Now here as we start the 3rd inning on the US PBL network. Malik Bolin, Ray Hilbrick, Christian Ortega due up in the 3rd. 57 pitches, and Pierce Banks is still out there. So already 7 over what was his expected limit. A little bit of a shift in the game plan, adjustment for Ryan Kotke after a long 38-pitch, 7-batter first inning for Banks.
Yes,
so he'll get out there for the 3rd.
Threw 38 in the first, but then cut it in half. Only 19 in the second. Hopefully he can keep trending in the right direction.
There's Galatas in the bullpen. Expect to see him, if anything gets awry in this inning. For Banks, he's obviously hoping to go 1-2-3. I think part of it for Kotke has to be trying to build some confidence for your pitcher who's just coming back to the league, and also saving the bullpen a little bit. You don't want to go to the pen in the 3rd inning and have to do an expected 7 innings of bullpen. Now, with the impending rain, we don't know if we'll get a full 9 in.
That's right. We'll see if Ryan Kotke takes him out first base runner, if he potentially would leave him on even if a guy reaches. So we'll see what Kotke's plan here is.
Bolin a hard liner right to Todd Maddox, though, and he makes the grab, and that's perfect for Pierce Banks. 1 pitch and 1 out.
1 pitch, 1 out. That'll help.
That'll bring up Ray Hilbrick, who had that RBI single back in the 1st inning, scoring Rudy Ramirez to break open this game. Hilbrick, one of 3 lefties in the lineup tonight. Swings at the first pitch. That's a Change up under the zone. Strike one.
It's interesting how even with Banks throwing all those pitches in the first 2 innings, first 2 batters here in the third, first pitch swinging.
There's a curveball, and quickly 0-2 as Hilbrick fouled it off his shoe top. No timeout for Ray with 2 strikes. He digs right back in as 10 seconds comes up on the pitch clock. Now Banks ready from the first base side of the rubber. Fires a fastball outside. There's our clock. Hilbrick ready at that 8-second mark. That's when he has to be. And that was a 55-foot changeup from Banks. Now 2-2.
Spiked it, bounced it well in front of home plate.
Hilbrick has a good eye at the plate. 11 walks and 15 strikeouts this year. You're going to have to make it close against him. 2-2 inside. He golfed the curveball to shallow center. Pup, long drifting glide over to make the catch. That's 2 outs.
You thought maybe the center fielder Flores would take charge there, but it was not. It was the shortstop, Pup. Nice catch.
So 2 down for Christian Ortega. Ortega also had an RBI single. That was the weird bouncer in between short and third.
J.D. Stubbs kind of screened Pup a little bit on that one, played a role in that.
Yep. It took a bigger hop than I think Pup was expecting. I think than we were expecting too. He's usually good at judging those, and he was well in front of where that high hop went. First pitch, tailing fastball in. Best one tonight, 92 from Banks, but it misses for ball 1.
And even on that Alex Crump ground ball to begin the second to Pup, that took a pretty high hop too.
Hard hit Ortega, high to left. Califoot going back to the warning track to the wall. He jumps and makes the catch right up against the wall.
Took a home run away.
Joey Califoot keeps us deadlocked where we are. Home run saving catch. It's 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the third. That's the 5th third out. Brought to you by Fifth Third Bank here on the US PBL Network. What a catch. That's big for Pierce Banks as well. He goes 1, 2, 3 in the third. Maybe bought himself another inning. We'll see.
That's got to be one of the best 5th third outs of the season right there.
Absolutely.
What a catch by Joey Califoot.
Now JJ gets to take the field, brought to you by Michigan First Credit Union. Delivering water on a much needed hot, humid day to our field umpire. He's got to be very gracious for that. JJ delivers his water. Califoot pulls back a home run. We're still at 2-1, bottom of the third, coming up after the break on the US PBL Network.
There are things you can rely on in this world, like your dog being happy to see you, coffee getting you through the day, and the government changing business regulations. And when it comes to navigating those regulations, you can rely on Tryon and its team of attorneys. Tryon can also tackle time-consuming HR tasks like payroll and employee benefits, so you can stay focused on growing your business. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
The storm is coming. Keep an eye on those flags to see how much that wind plays a factor in the innings that we are trying to get in before the storm gets here. Obviously, we're going to be greedy and try to get all 9. It's unlikely when you look at the forecast. We'll see how much that wind plays a factor in maybe long fly balls. We just saw that last one off the bat of Ortega, maybe killed by the wind a little bit. That wind is coming in from left field towards the right field foul pole, out to right field, helping left-handed hitters. And Ortega had a home run pulled back by Califoot and the wind a little bit, I think.
You're right. It did hang up in the air for a while, which definitely helped Joey Califoot, but that was just a terrific catch. And here's a nice play by Marcus Judd.
Judd slides and stops it. Didn't quite get it into his glove, but still sure-handed and makes the play for the first out. 1 pitch and 1 out for Lokinen now. Joe Burke flew out on 1 pitch last time back in the first inning, hitting .342 in the month of August. And the big number when you look at Joe Burke's name, 8 league-leading home runs this season.
And the 33 league-leading RBI, too.
Curveball backdoor for a strike. Lokinen is feeling that curveball right now. He is not afraid to throw that on the first pitch in the 3-2 and a 2-strike count to get a strike, and hitters are just not seeing it. Not only are it doesn't seem like they're seeing it, I don't know that there's anything they could do with it if they could see it. It's a perfectly placed knuckle curve on the back door.
We talked about this delivery for Lokinen earlier. It's got some nice deception to it. The Diamond Hoppers having a tough time picking up the baseball out of his hand.
Burke out to center again. Davis will come in a few steps. Couple of flyouts to center for Burke tonight. That's the second out here in the third. And going back to that Lokinen delivery like you mentioned, Teddy, he kind of got specific with us and told us where the velocity has been lost, and going back to his windup being a guy who goes over the head. It's in specifically where the peak of that leg kick is. He said what happened to him is he was hanging up too long right about there. When that knee came as high as it's going to go, reached its peak, he was there for half a second, a quarter of a second too long, and that is enough to lose some velocity for Greg. So it's more about transferring and helping everything move faster so that the arm moves faster, the hand moves faster, and thus the ball.
You're right. It's rarely any sort of major change you have to make when you get to this level. It's little things like that, little tweaks, tenths of a second. Just a little change can make a huge difference.
Quickly ahead, 0-2. Schellenbarger just gets out of the way of a fastball. But yeah, Greg just trying to move the body a little bit faster, a little bit more on time as well, so that everything clicks. 1-2, Schellenbarger the opposite way to left, and Ramirez barely has to move.
Looked like the curveball again.
1-2-3 in the bottom half of the third. Still 2-1 as we head to the fourth after these words on the USPBL Network.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Tryon's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
So after 3 innings, Pierce Banks' day is done. It's Nick Galatas taking over in the fourth. So Banks, there's some good and some bad in this start. The bad is 4 walks in 3 innings. Now he was able, I like that third inning. He went 1, 2, 3. They were all contact outs. He only had 1 strikeout. But after 7 batters in the first, faced 5 in the second, walked a couple, but was able to get out of it without giving up any runs, and then went 1, 2, 3 in his last inning. A good last inning to at least end it on.
Yeah, overall, not a great outing, but I do think he got better each inning. I think the second inning was a little better than the first, and then the third was his best inning of the day. So, the 65 pitches in 3 innings, obviously that's a little high. We were told about 50, and he went a little more than that. But, the second and third inning, he got progressively better as the day went on. So that's a positive, and try to build off of that moving forward.
And I think the huge thing has to be Galatas coming in here in the 4th rather than the 2nd or 3rd. That's going to save, wherever you can find innings, if you're Ryan Kotke this late in the season, to save some arms, you're going to do it.
Absolutely. Nick Galatas, 24 years old, native of California, 6 foot, 210 pounds, played collegiately at Jackson State. Right-hander, and let's run through his pitch mix real quick. He's got 5 offerings: 4-seam, 2-seam, changeup, slider, and curveball. It'd be 4-seam a little more often than the 2-seam.
First pitch to Marcus Judd, in on the hands and fouled away. 7, 8, 9 due up: Judd, Crump, and Wilcoxon. Galatas started his USBBL career with the Unicorns. Was there for 7 appearances, then came over to the Hoppers. He's made 3 appearances with them, this being number 4. Fastball, 2-seamer up and in, and Judd stays out of the way, just barely. Thought it was really interesting talking to Marcus Judd. We talked earlier about how this guy's probably going to be a good baseball coach one day, understands the game well, explains it well. Hits this one on the ground to 3rd, and that might have been off his foot, thus a foul ball, as the umpire finally calls time. But Judd, because he's so short, 5'5", don't see many 5'5" guys playing professional baseball. But I thought it was really interesting talking to him about his approach at the plate and what he expects. And I wasn't even referring to him being a little bit smaller in stature, but he took it there and said a lot of times he's always expecting a high fastball because, 1, most pitchers are taller than him and used to delivering to taller batters, but 2, they think he's going to swing at the high fastball because he's shorter than most hitters. And I just thought that was really interesting that he would even think of it that way, and that's kind of the perspective of someone who's shorter than most players and is used to dealing with that.
Absolutely, that is an interesting perspective. A unique battle that Marcus Judd has to face that certainly not every player does. And we'll see if Judd's okay. I mean, it looked like that left foot's bothering him quite a bit after fouling that pitch off.
Fights off the 2-2. This is going back to the dugout. Look out, that's a bomb dropping on the Beavers dugout, but everybody seems to be okay.
I think Judd's fine. Probably just foot was stinging for a little bit. He'll feel better in time.
He's another guy who's going to battle through it no matter what. Now waiting on the 2-2 again. Inside, good eye. Pitch looked like it might break back to the zone on the slider, but instead it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Galatas tried to front door him there, and almost, but not quite.
Swing and a miss right over the changeup. And Hughes will throw it down to first. Was a little bit of indecision whether he caught it off the bounce or not. So Judd is out for the first out. Galatas' first strikeout. That'll bring up Crump, who grounded out last time.
Come in, strike out the first batter you face. Nick Galatas got it like that.
That's very big for a guy like Galatas, too, who in his 10 appearances total has more walks than strikeouts this year. Swing and a miss for Crump. The walks are so key in this league. We saw the only 2 that Pierce Banks surrendered in the first inning, that is. He had 4 total. But the 2 in the first inning are the 2 runs that you see next to the Beavers' name right now.
Exactly.
So it's very important for pitchers to keep the walks low and the strikeouts up, because when you do that, you're just it's so much more successful. I think in this league, more than college, more than some of the other minors, more than Major League Baseball, it's so much easier for a pitcher to keep the ERA low if you can keep the walks low.
Absolutely.
You can keep base runners off the base paths. Swing and a miss for Crump. Inside, Galatas got him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Galatas, both swinging, and 2 down for Ben Wilcoxon. But when you keep the base runners off the base paths, you're relying less on your defense, less on the lack of wild pitches. We've seen many runs score on wild pitches and runners move up on pass balls before in this league, and more on just yourself and your ability to beat the guy at the plate.
That free 90 feet will keep adding up.
Absolutely. and you look at all the pitchers who have the lowest ERAs and who have been the most successful this year, all of them have low walk rates. It's not just low walks, high strikeouts. Some of them don't always have high strikeouts, but all of them
have low walks.
Who have an ERA below 4, below 3, many are a couple below 2 in this league. Just don't walk very many batters. The one exception is Mike Esposito of the Beavers, but that's because he strikes out 19 guys every 9 innings, so that'll combat a walk rate of about 8 pretty well.
Those are young Aroldis Chapman type numbers right there.
And he throws it like Chapman. Fastball can get up to 97 if he wants to. Wilcoxon the other way, and Joe Burke just casually lifts the glove and pulls down the liner from his old college teammate. That ends the 4th inning. 1-2-3, a couple of strikeouts for Galatas. We go to the home half of the 4th here on the USPBL Network.
Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great time at Jimmy John's Field experiencing another exciting baseball game. This ballpark is one of many quality of life recreational assets Macomb County has to offer. And as you leave here today, let me invite you to explore Macomb County's diverse range of outdoor assets by visiting MakeMacomb.com. You'll find that Macomb County's trails are open year-long and available for walking, running, biking, as well as paddling along the Clinton River. In Macomb County, there is something for everyone. Find out more about Macomb County's 4 seasons of fun by visiting MakeMacomByourHome.com. Now let's play ball.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Bottom of the 4th, Greg Lokinen still out there. He'll face Califoot, Flores, and Hughes, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters here in the 4th. Still avoiding the weather right now. Very close to that 5th inning. If we complete the 5th, it will be a complete game, and that's the main hopes right now, is that we at least get through 5 before the weather comes in.
Greg Lokinen looked really good so far tonight. Now 4, 5, 6 hitters are hard of the order the second time through. This will be his toughest test yet.
Califoot, little bouncer to second. Judd backing up, and a good pick by Bolin over there at first. Good to see that from the first baseman, who hasn't played a ton of first base this season.
Yeah, nice play on both ends. Marcus Judd moving to his right, back up the middle. Hit long throw, and it was in the dirt, and then Malik Bolin, the soft hands, made the play.
Flores
Bolin, I should say.
struck out against Lokinen back in the 2nd. Fastball riding up and away. But you're right, Teddy. Lokinen certainly does look comfortable on the mound. He's in a groove, he's in a rhythm, and he's landing his pitches pretty well. Fastball, bottom of the zone, popped up. Bolin is there, so is Judd. And it'll be Bolin.
Yeah, 45 pitches through 3 2/3, doing very well so far.
2 up and 2 down in the 4th, leaves it to Whit Hughes. Curveball at that back foot. Hughes just scooting out of the way. 1 ball, no strikes. Late on a fastball. Some home run hopefuls out there on the lawn and right. Maybe not up the bat of Hughes, but wait for a lefty, and there's a chance. There's that curveball again. Knuckle curve on the back door. Spotted perfectly. 1 ball and 2 strikes to get Lokinen back in front in this count. Now goes to the curveball again. Right under the barrel. Strike 3. 3 up and 3 down. Lokinen has retired 7 straight, going back to the 2nd inning. That's his 4th strikeout as we move on to the 5th inning here on your home for USPBL baseball.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood
and discover the funner you hidden within you. The you that doesn't think about adult things and stuff. Ashley, I don't want to hear anything about your car registration when we're at Dave & Buster's.
Okay.
The you want to be.
Let the Dave & Buster's method illuminate you. Begin the method today with 5 free games.
You know you want to.
Decent crowd here on a Thursday night. Trying to see as much baseball as they can before the rain reaches. Here in the top of the 5th, it'll be the top of the order due up. Davis, Ramirez, and Stubbs against Galatas, who's out there for his 2nd inning of work. Pavilion's busy, the hill is busy, the grandstands are busy. Good crowd.
Good crowd. Strong turnout on Firefighter Appreciation Night. Thank you, firefighters, for everything you do.
Galatas worked a smooth 1-2-3 4th inning, including a pair of strikeouts to Judd and Crump. Couple fans out in left field visiting the outfield. Have to wait for them to get off before we can start this 5th inning. Through 4, it's 2 runs on 2 hits and no errors for the Beavers. They've left 4 men on the base paths. On the other side for the Hoppers, 1 run on 2 hits, no errors for them, and 3 runners stranded. Off speed, clips the corner on the outside. Davis looks at it for strike 1.
Chris Davis 0 for 1 with a walk tonight, and you mentioned it after his last time up. Just 1 for his last 12. A little bit of a funk here.
You don't often see Davis go this long without a number of base hits. Swings and misses. 3 pitches and a strikeout, all off speed from Galatas. That's his 3rd K in 4 batters.
Yeah, Nick Galatas coming out of this Diamond Hopper bullpen looking really good, going right after these Beaver hitters.
And it's days like today, fly out, walk, strikeout, that have just kind of been Davis's days in the past week. It's only been 3 games since he's really struggled. And it's funny that, you know, what caught my eye and made me look deeper into his last stretch was his batting average being at 326 instead of the typical 346 where it's been pretty much all year long. Hard hit into left field. Rudy Ramirez with a base knock.
Nice swing by Rudy Ramirez.
He's reached now in all 3 plate appearances, a pair of walks and a base hit here in the 5th.
Yeah, and getting back to Chris Davis real quick, terrific player, terrific athlete, and, you know, that's just, I think, the ebb and flow of the game of baseball.
Yeah.
He'll snap right back out of it. He'll be fine.
Even a guy as good as Davis, you can't expect anybody to maintain 340 for very long.
Happens to the best of us.
Especially in a league like this where it's such an, I would call it, intimate relationship with the other teams. It's a 4-team league. It's not, you know, minor league division where you've got 5 or 6 teams, and in your league you've got even more than that, and you're bouncing around and playing different players and places. You're kind of seeing the same guys for the most part if you're here all season long, and so pitchers get used to Davis. They get used to each other's tendencies, and it's that cat and mouse game of adjusting to each other back and forth. I think Davis has always been a guy who's had a good eye, but now because he's been such a good hitter, he's seen less pitches in the strike zone.
Yeah, he's been seeing a lot of pitches, especially these last 3 games you talked about. A lot of stuff breaking, darting low and in on him.
And for a guy who already works a high number of walks, it's hard for him to change his ways and maybe swing at pitches that are a little bit closer but probably outside the zone and not necessarily good pitches to swing at.
But that's a great point about, this being a 4-team league, that extreme familiarity that you build up, not just with your own teammates, but with the guys you're playing against, seeing them so often. You just kind of secondhand start to understand everyone's strengths and weaknesses.
Right. Stubbs ahead 3-1. Takes strike 2, two-seamer, tailing on the outside part of the plate. Beavers have not been aggressive with the base runners that they have had on first tonight. Stubbs swings at the 3-2 and fouls it away, which is kind of a surprise because this is a team. With the Hoppers offense and with their pitching, it feels like you want to take every opportunity you can to get into scoring position and try to add some more runs. It doesn't feel like in a game against the Hoppers 2 is going to be enough.
Mentioned it back in the first inning. Ramirez 7 for 7 in stolen base tries this season.
3-2, swing and a miss. Off-speed changeup up in the zone, and J.D. Stubbs was well out in front of it. The 5th strikeout for Galatas. How about, the 4th. But how about this outing that he is putting together? We mentioned before today how Galatas had more walks than strikeouts. That's no longer true. He's now tied his walk total, 18 apiece, with the 4 Ks tonight. Bolin into left. That's well struck. Califat has to go pick it up just in front of the warning track. That keeps the inning alive. A 2-out single for Malik Bolin.
This is just the man the Beavers want coming to the plate right now, number 10, Ray Hilbeck. He's been swinging it as well as anyone, and with Ramirez's speed, you would think a single very likely to tie this game.
Hilbrick has already tallied an RBI single tonight. Was back in the first. It scored Ramirez, who sits over at second base. Popped out to shortstop his other time up. The 1-0. Inside. 2 balls and no strikes. A good hitter's count for Hilbrick.
Christian Ortega in the on-deck circle. Ortega nearly hit one out his last time, and Califat made that home run saving catch in left field.
30 pitches for Galatas. The bullpen is quiet for the Hoppers, trying to get out of this 5th inning. And he falls behind even more. 3 balls and no strikes. There is still 1 base open, and I don't know, do you intentionally walk Hilbrick here to get to Ortega, as you mentioned, Teddy, who's had 2 good swings, an RBI single and a near home run? I guess the answer might be yes.
Looks like a yes.
There's the first walk for Galatas. So Ramirez to third, Bolin to second, and Hilbrick over at first for Ortega.
Nice job here by the catcher, Whit Hughes, to go out and talk to Galatas, just kind of, calm him down, help him understand the situation here and the task at hand.
Strikeout, single, walk. Loads the bases with 2 outs. Christian Ortega, 16th game this year. He already has 2 home runs in his first 15.
Look at the sun peeking back through now.
All of a sudden sunny again. Michigan weather.
That's right.
Slider outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Ortega's .426 slugging percentage is 4th best on the Beavers. They would not mind an extra base hit here. They've got the most of any team in the league in that category this season.
That was a big pitch there, getting that call in the outside corner. Big difference between 1-1 and 2-0.
And a swing and a miss on the slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now Galatas back in an advantage count. Hilberg at first, Bolin at second, Ramirez at third. The 1-2 outside. Wind has now died down a little bit. And if you were just guessing without having already looked at the weather, you wouldn't think there's a big old bad storm on its way. The 2-2. Hard hit left field going back. Califoot, he'll watch it fly. Christian Ortega breaks it open with a grand slam.
Califoot took a home run away from Ortega his last time up. Well, he wasn't going to get that one. Christian Ortega, a grand slam, crushed it over the 315-foot wall in left field.
A 2-out, bases-loaded grand slam for Christian Ortega, his 3rd home run of the year, and the Beavers have broken this one open in the 5th. It's now 6-1.
Christian Ortega, 23 years old, from Miami, Florida, played at a couple of Division II schools, Davis and Elkins in West Virginia and Tusculum University in Greenville, Tennessee, gives the Beavers a lead here with a grand slam. Or I should say extends the Beavers' lead here with the grand slam.
Judd bounces one foul. Flew out and struck out already tonight. Mentioned that this is a must-win for the Beavers. Ortega puts them in a good spot to do that. And again, this whole night, we're factoring in that we might not get 9 innings in as Judd takes that one off the shoulder. An 0-2 hit batter, and we're not out of the 5th yet.
Judd fouled that pitch off his foot his last time up. Now he gets hit by a pitch here, but as you can see, clearly in good spirits. He's fine.
Have to love Marcus Judd, don't you?
He does have some positive energy. He's fun to watch, fun to be around.
Absolutely. He's the definition of a guy you just want to be around.
But getting back to what you were saying about how big of a game this is, particularly for the Beavers, and after having only 1 hit through the 8 innings last night, to have the swings they put out there tonight, it's got to be really good to see.
Judd going on the pitch, and Crump got hit.
Back-to-back hit by pitches.
2 straight two-seam fastballs that tail into the right-handed hitters and plunk them. Now 1st and 2nd with 2 outs, and Ben Wilcoxon is up, and this is not a guy you want to see with a runner in scoring position, even though he's the 9-hole hitter. We've had a couple of conversations about that this year. Wilcoxon is essentially a leadoff 9-hole hitter.
Ryan Cockey's really trying to get through the 5th inning here with Galatas. They're just now, looks like, sending someone down to that left field bullpen.
Wilcoxon skied it high and foul. That's Andrew Verbrugge or Danny Sullivan, I believe. That's Danny Sullivan heading down to the bullpen. Seems like this 5th might be Galatas's no matter what. He's going to have to wear this one. Judd dancing off a 2nd. Galatas, this one served into center off the bat of Wilcoxon and soft enough for Flores to get right under it. The big blast from Christian Ortega, a grand slam, no doubter over the left field wall. That makes it 6-1 Beavers as we go to the bottom of the 5th here on the US BBL Network.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Fifth Third Bank. Yeah, it's a quirky name. But here's the thing. 5/3 equals 166.7%. So we put 166.7% into everything we do. Like automatically getting you your paycheck up to 2 days early. Giving you well-deserved extra time to avoid overdraft fees. And helping you borrow from your future self. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Greg Lokenin, perhaps breathing a sigh of relief. We were one swing of the bat away from maybe this being a tie game, and now it's a 5-run lead for the Beavers, and he can calm down and do whatever he wants on the mound. He's already looked comfortable, but thanks to Christian Ortega, Greg Lokenin can be feeling good here in the 5th.
Yeah, Greg Lokenin been very sharp tonight, and then you said it in the top half of this 5th inning, the third baseman, Christian Ortega, with the big swing, taking a 1-run game, making it a 5-run game.
That was the 4th home run that Galatas had given up this season. First pitch, changeup. Haven't seen it too much, and Maddox swung right over it.
Yeah, that first pitch here at the bottom of the 5th, only pitch number 50 for Lokenin.
Check swing, and he went around. The 0-2. Maddox stays alive. He walked and scored back in the 2nd. He's the only hopper to touch the plate in this game.
Scored in that RBI double by Pup.
Pup waits on deck. Acevedo behind him. 1-2. Curveball out into center. Davis maybe got stuck in the grass for a second. Looked like he stumbled. You can see that dark patch out there, and after a full season of activities, it just gets a little beat up in the heart of center field, and I think Davis maybe just slipped or got a little stuck for a second, but he's able to make the grab.
Yeah, I think a combination of all that activity here being late in the season and all this rain we've had lately sure didn't help.
Absolutely, yep. You can see, as we mentioned in the pregame show, a lot of rain 2 nights ago. A little bit of rain last night, mainly just kind of a lightning storm, actually. There was some rain.
Right.
That was in the wee hours of the morning. And the grounds crew did a fantastic job to get this field ready. Pup waiting on the 0-1. Curveball, fastball, perfect pitches, 0-2. Pup will use his timeout.
With the rhythm Lokenin's in right now, you'd think these Diamond Hoppers trying to do just about anything they can to snap him out of it.
Yeah, I mean, Lokenen is quickly get the ball back, step on the rubber, let's go. He is feeling it right now. Fastball, Pup fights it foul. Lokenen is not really shaking off Crump either. They seem to be on the same page.
Yeah, they look to be in sync.
0-2. Popped up. Center field for Davis.
It's been the theme of the night, hasn't
Yeah.
it? Soft contact, weak contact, you know, routine fly balls, particularly for Chris Davis in center field.
The Hoppers have hit 5 flyouts into center, and the Beavers, on the other hand, have hit 3. 8 through 4 2/3, 4.5 innings. Feels like a lot, right?
I think so.
We have no data to look at to judge whether it's a lot or not, but
it does feel like it as Greg Lokinen now begins his 3rd trip through this order.
Again,
another fly ball to center field.
F8, F8, F8. A 1-2-3 inning for Lokinen. They're all flyouts to that man, Chris Davis. That sends us to the 6th. 6-1 Hoppers here on the US BBL Network.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Sixth inning, 6-1 Beavers lead it over the Hoppers here on the US PBL Network. Nick Galatas came on in the 4th, and it's about as opposite sides of the coin as you could get between his 4th inning and his 5th inning. The 4th inning went 1-2-3 with a pair of strikeouts. The 5th inning, he also got 2 strikeouts, but he gave up 3 hits and a walk, including the grand slam to Christian Ortega to make it the 6-1 ball game that it is now. There's the old adage in baseball that anytime you make an outstanding play in the field, you lead off the next inning. Does 3 routine fly balls equal 1 outstanding play for Chris Davis? Is that why he's leading off here in the 6th?
I don't know. We might have stumbled onto something new, but this is the 2nd inning in a row that Davis is leading off. He also led off the 5th for the Beavers.
And against Galatas in the 5th, he struck out on 3 pitches. That's not going to happen this time as he looks at ball 1 on the changeup. Slider under the zone.
And we do have some activity in that Diamond Hopper bullpen in case Galatas runs in the trouble here in the 6th. Number 27, the right-hander Danny Sullivan up and throwing.
Back up the middle, off the backside of Galatas. Maddox fields on the bare hand, throw to first. He got him, what a play!
That'll go 1-5-3 on the putout.
Ryan Kotke quickly bounces out of the dugout to check on his pitcher, Galatas. How about Maddox, the heads-up play to field that on the bare hand and get Davis, who has plenty of speed, over at first. And now it's just about, is Galatas okay to keep pitching here in this 6th?
Yeah, sharp line drive off the bat at Chris Davis, right back up the middle, and it hit Galatas right in the rear end, maybe the lower back, and it looks like he's fine. I think it did hit him in the rear end, and he looks like he's going to stay in this game. Told Ryan Kotke I'm good. 1-5-3 on the putout. Great play by Maddox.
I think it caught Galatas just above the rear end on that kind of lower back area. You would hope it caught him maybe somewhere where there's a little bit of meat.
He looks like he's fine.
I mean, he's got at least
a bruise.
Maybe part of it is he's at least happy that Maddox still made the play.
Very nice play.
Has to be easier getting back on the mound after that than had it been an infield single, right?
Between that play by Maddox and the catch out in left field by Califoot, Diamond Hoppers have flashed some weather tonight.
Maddox a nice pick, but the throw pulls Burke off the bag, and he couldn't catch it anyways.
Almost another one, yeah.
Ramirez had to dodge each other. That should go up as an error, and it does. The first error of the game for either side. E5 puts Ramirez on with one out. Rudy Ramirez, 4th time he's been on base tonight. Stubbs 0 for 2 with a walk. Scored on that walk in the first. Swing and a miss. Galatas will move Ramirez back. I was just thinking, too, obviously, we've seen Ramirez stand over at first base 4 times tonight. I think every time we've mentioned that he might steal, and he hasn't even flinched at it.
No, not yet.
Clearly Galatas is worried about it, but Ramirez just stands very calm over there, almost like he's just catching his breath with his hands on his knees, watching the pitcher. Not a big lead, not a big secondary lead either. And perhaps now it's because they have a 6-1 lead instead of a 2-1 lead. Now a big lead. Outside on the 0-2 to Stubbs with a fastball.
An interesting defensive alignment here against Stubbs. I mean, the shortstop pup playing up the middle, almost directly behind the second base bag, only a little bit to the left of the bag.
Now Ramirez goes, swing and a miss, strike him out. Not going to get to throw him out at second. Ramirez in there safely, 8th stolen base of the season.
Still perfect, 8 for 8 for Rudy Ramirez.
There is now 3 Beavers with the Snowman under the stolen base category. 5th strikeout for Galatas. Brings up Bolin with a man in scoring position.
Bolin singled 2 batters before that. Ortega grand slam in the 5th.
He's the RBI leader this year for the Beavers. He's really just had a very good season. He's gotten better, seems like every week as the season has gone on. Malik, that is. Last season, 13 walks. This season, in as many games, he's worked 20. Average is down from last year, but he was pretty protected in the Unicorns lineup a season ago. That was the best offense far and away of any in the league. Bolin's a bigger target on the Beavers for pitchers to pitch around. Has seen way less fastballs this year than he did a season ago.
Bolin will turn 25 on September 3rd. Native of Fort Worth, Texas, 6'4", 215 pounds.
3-0, catches the corner with the slider. But even still, that the batting average is quote-unquote down. It's down from 330 to almost 290. Not a huge difference when you think about it.
Still very good numbers, yeah.
3-1, and he walked him. Seems like Galatas has done this a number of times. The Hoppers have done this a number of times. Get 2 outs and still just take a minute to end the inning.
Yeah, Galatas through 3 2 2/3 so far, trying to get through 3, and he's thrown 57 pitches, so he's almost made a start here himself tonight.
Hard hit, right field. That'll get through past a diving Burke. Ramirez is going to be waved around. Up with the throw is Schellenbarger. The throw is up the third base line as Hughes has to reach to grab it. Ramirez slides in safely. A 2-out RBI single for Ray Hilbrick. How about the game this guy's having? 2 singles, 2 RBIs, a walk, and a run scored for Ray so far tonight.
Hilbrick's second RBI of the night, 12th of the season, now 7-1 Beavers here in the 6th.
Again, we talked earlier about how important the walks are in this league and how often they come around to score. Same thing for the errors. Ramirez reached with one out on the error from Maddox. Had he been thrown out, we'd be out of this inning already. But instead he scores off the bat of Hilbrick.
Yes.
Ortega is smoking the ball tonight. That's the fourth hard hit ball from him. That one's foul. He had the hard liner, or the hard bouncer, I guess, in the first. The hard fly out in the third, and then obviously the grand slam last inning.
Yeah, I'd say Christian Ortega's seen it pretty well tonight. Swinging the bat with a lot of confidence right now.
Is behind 0-2, and fastball. Hughes liked it, but not going to get the call, just under. This one's out to left center field. Califoot will see this one into his glove, though, as it's not quite as deep as the grand slam. But the Beavers tack on another. It's now 7-1, bottom of the sixth. Hoppers in desperate need of some offense, but Greg Lokinen has shut him down so far.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Fans still hanging around. No rain yet, thankfully. Getting to keep this game going. Marcoux, Burke, and Schellenbarger due up in the bottom of the sixth. Trailing now 7-1 are the Hoppers. Greg Lokinen, 10 is the number that stands out right now. Has retired that many batters in a row, going all the way back to the second inning. First pitch is a ball low to Marcoux.
Yeah, Greg Lokinen looking to pick up his third win of the season, and this his fourth start of the year, and he's been about as sharp as the Beavers could have hoped for.
And now gets a called strike with the fastball. Marcoux, a walk and a ground out tonight. Fouls that one away. 4 straight fastballs. Lokinen's used that knuckle curve to go backdoor to a lot of the right-handed hitters. Marcoux kind of crowds the plate, though. Not sure if we'll see that knuckle curve in this at-bat. There it is, but it's away that time. And missing pretty badly. Clearly, Lokinen likes that on the arm side of the plate for him.
And he'll go back to it. He's not afraid to throw it, even in a full count here.
Payoff pitch. And he walked him again. Only 3 walks tonight for Lokinen, but 2 have been to Marcoux.
One of the themes we've been talking about, the walks being a killer, lead-off walk with a 6-run lead. That's the type of things that, you know, will sometimes drive coaches crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. 6-run lead. Not exactly competitive after being ahead 1 and 2 as well in that at-bat for Lokinen.
Yeah.
And time called very late. Pitch clock violation on Lokinen. So behind 1 ball and no strikes.
They just got the violation called in time. He was beginning to lift that right leg. He was trying to get it off.
First violation tonight. Burke now ahead in the count. Swings, and it's a high fly ball to left field, ranging over is Ramirez, looking up. He'll now pull into the warning track. Stumbles, and he dropped it. Off his glove it goes. He fielded it in foul territory, though, so it is just a long strike. Ramirez had a long run to go. He was shading Burke up the left center field gap and obviously had to get all the way to the foul pole. And it was the last step that was the crucial one.
Yeah, I think it was that transition from grass to dirt there, and he just tripped himself up and was unable to make the play on a ball that he probably normally would have caught.
And it's worth noting Ramirez, typically the everyday DH.
Yeah, a rare start out in left field for him.
And now you circle that pitch in your brain to see how it affects the rest of this inning. There's ball 2 to Burke. Two-one. Inside with the curve again. 3 balls and a strike.
I mean, if Lokinen can get Burke to hit something on the ground here, he's definitely a candidate to hit into a double play.
Hard hit through the side. The left side, that is, of the infield. And the first 2 are on in the 6th for the Hoppers. Maybe a little rally brewing, and they need it down by 6 runs.
That pitch count for Lokinen still only at 68. This will be number 69, and there does not appear to be any action in that Beaver bullpen yet, but we'll keep an eye on it down the right field line.
It's a Beavers bullpen that has been hindered by injuries lately. Alex Reinold has been on the IR for a long time, since the start of the season. Ryan Mann went on and is now off, but he was there for a week and a half. Same thing with John Bucalaire. He got hurt for a moment. Now he is back. He's only pitched 1 time in his return off the injured reserve. But you're right, they're trying to save the arms. Up the middle could be 2. Wilcoxon 6-4. Judd turns it.
Big time.
3 on the double play. 2 outs as Schellenbarger bounces into it. Marcoux moves over to third, though.
Exactly what Greg Lokinen was hoping for. Now 2 outs and a runner on third base, 1 pitch away from another scoreless frame.
Califoot stepping up. He's 0 for 2 tonight with a punch out. Curveball away. Big double play in a big spot. Maybe changes the complete complexion of this game. To get not only a double play there, but a double play from Schellenbarger, who's a home run, double, extra base hit candidate at any given moment with 2 on and nobody out. Even if you give up this run here over at third.
Minimal damage.
Yeah.
Very minimal
big
damage.
spot to get that 6-4-3 double play. The 2-0. Swing and a miss.
Califoot's got a real nice build. 6'3", 215 pounds, 23 years old, from Columbus in Wisconsin. Played at Division III Edgewood College.
Up the middle, and that will score Noah Marcoux from third. A 2-out ground ball single, and the Hoppers have their second run of the game.
Good swing back up the middle by Joe Califoot right there, and he's now in double digits. RBI number 10.
Califoot also a member of the Polish national team. His mom's Polish, was able to go over there and sign some papers and become a Polish citizen. And that allowed him to play on the national team, played all across Europe in some of their WBC qualifiers. Pretty cool experience, he said, getting to travel to European countries. He leads off of first. Flores waiting on the 0-1 at the plate. Up and away with the curve. Flores is 0 for 2 with a punch out, as was Califoot before his base hit, and Flores is going to try to match that as well. 1-1, and he hit him. Curveball on that back foot, and Lokinen took it a little too literally. It looks like it caught some of Crump as well. He's down on his knees in pain, it looks like. You see him take the glove off. Maybe that glove, wrist, or hand.
Yeah, that's interesting what's going on with Crump here. He's still down on a knee just outside the right-handed batter's box. Now he's standing up.
He waves to his dugout that he's all fine, sends the trainer back. So 2 base runners with 2 outs after the single and hit batter. That just feels like it's kind of been the story today. Both of these pitchers getting to 2 outs and not being able to end the inning very much. Lokinen did it a couple times already when he went on that 10 batters retired streak. But he got 2 outs in the first and then gave up a single before getting the final strikeout. 2 outs in the second and then went walk double, conceding a run. Now 2 outs here in the 6th. RBI single and a hit batter keeps it alive for Hughes, who fouls the first pitch back. Outside with the fastball. 1-1. Hughes 0 for 2 with a strikeout. We talked about those 3 home runs he's had since the end of July. Again, having none up until that point in his professional career. Asked him about that, and he said it's just got better at hitting the mistake pitch, not missing that. Not missing the fastball middle, not missing the hung curveball.
Absolutely. When the opposition leaves a pitch like that over the middle of the plate, particularly in a hitter-friendly count, got to make them pay.
And that's the difference of success at the professional level. Most of these guys are good enough to not miss too many pitches, but you have to be able to jump on the ones that they do miss in order to do some damage. Bullpen now stirring for the Beavers. 2-2 with 2 down here in the 6th. Inside, Hughes jackknifes out of the way. Full count now with 2 on and 2 out.
Yeah, that pitch count, this will be 83, so it's beginning to get up there for Lokinen.
He's a guy that can go pretty deep into a game. Payoff pitch to Hughes. Runners go, and he walked him. And you can see the frustration in the reaction from Lokinen. Second walk this inning. He had just 2 through the first 5 innings before this 6th. That'll load the bases with 2 down.
Crump will go out and talk to Lokinen here before this Maddox at bat.
It's Mike Esposito and Jesse Galindo in the bullpen for the Beavers. Looks like Galindo the first to really start warming up and getting ready. Esposito's over there stretching. Looks like Nick Bonk as well. Now Frankie Lux is going to come out.
And this is very well could be just buying time for the bullpen here. Some little gamesmanship.
Assistant manager for the Beavers, having a conversation with his starter and catcher, and I think you're right, Teddy. I think this is buying time. I don't know that much was said there.
Yeah.
You could kind of see them just all nodding, like, "Yep,
We'll
we
hang
know.
out
We
here
gotta
and
do-
act like we're talking for a little bit.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, they need a little extra time."
Loken and me can record one more out and, only allow no more than one more run. He can pick up a quality start here.
Has to find the strike zone, which has been the trouble. 2 walks and a hit batter this inning. Maddox already walked back in the second. He scored off the bat of Pup, who would be next should Maddox get on. First pitch, swing and a miss on the fastball. Hoppers with the bases loaded this season, hitting .200. Just barely third place in the league ahead of the Unicorns. That's been an anomaly that I haven't quite been able to figure out this season. With bases loaded, teams typically hit better, and individuals typically hit better because you have to throw strikes. There's nowhere to put them.
Right.
But every team in the league has really just not succeeded at all in this situation. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. There it is again. Greg Lokenen with his 5th strikeout of the night on perhaps his last out. Pitch number 85 is a good one. Strands the bases loaded. Only 1 run given up in the 6th. We'll go to the 7th here from Jimmy John's Field.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
Now in the 7th, Nick Galatas is out. Danny Sullivan is in for the Hoppers. They trail it by 5. They got 1 run back in the 6th. See what they can do defensively here in the 7th against 7, 8, and 9. Marcus Judd, Alex Crump, and Ben Wilcoxon.
Sullivan, the 23-year-old native of Mullica Hill, New Jersey, played at the University of Antelope Valley in California on NAIA school. Give you the breakdown of what he offers here. It's a 4-pitch mix, primarily the 4-seam fastball and the slider, and then he also employs a curveball and a splitter, and Sullivan has been real good this year. This will be his 11th game out of that Diamond Hopper bullpen, and a 1.65 ERA over 16 in the 3rd inning. So real good stuff from number 27, Danny Sullivan.
Sullivan, as you mentioned, only 10 appearances so far. Got here a little bit late. He's one of those rare guys that in the early stages of his USPBL career has more walks than strikeouts and has that low ERA to go along with it.
It's an interesting combination, kind of living on the edge a bit, but he's made it work so far.
It's one of those combinations where you think there might be a correction coming soon.
Water finding its level.
Yes. can expect Sullivan to probably go through the 7th and 8th if he can get through it cleanly. Again, because every team, but the Hoppers in particular, who were really fatigued as far as the bullpen goes the last 2 weeks coming into last weekend and now this week, their bullpen was really light on available guys.
I think we saw that even with how long they left Galatas in there. I mean, if it were a normal situation, they probably would have got him out there a little sooner, but they had to kind of just roll with him for a while.
2-0, Sullivan needs a strike, and Judd popped it up foul. Maddox ranging over. Does he have room? The answer is yes.
Nice play by Maddox over there in front of his own dugout. I'm sure his teammates helped him out and was telling him he had room. You could see it was kind of on the edge of the grass and the warning track there. It's a wet area. Nice play by Maddox.
Big pop out, too, after being behind 2 balls and no strikes to Judd. Now Alex Crump up. Mentioned the 4-pitch mix, Teddy. Fastball, slider, curveball, and a splitter.
That splitter's an interesting pitch.
And kind of, it's a weird pitch when you look at the history of the splitter. It's been around for a while. It's kind of an age-old combination, fastball, splitter. They both look similar, obviously, but the splitter darts with that kind of tumbling action late at home plate. But it also has become much more popular as of late in Major League Baseball. It's a pitch that's been around for a while, but just hasn't been as popular as it is. Nowadays, you look at the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, in college baseball. Most of them throw a pretty good splitter.
Yes.
Crump lifted that one to center, and Flores lost the hat on the long run, but able to make the catch.
Great example of that, Casey Mize. Tigers drafted him out of Auburn a few years ago. He was known for having that splitter.
Now, Mize is another example of the interesting history of the splitter in the fact that some argue it can be very detrimental to the health of a pitcher's elbow.
Yeah.
Because for those that don't understand it, if you just heard the word splitter and thought of how you'd grip a baseball, I think where your mind would go originally is probably the actual grip of a splitter. You wedge the baseball, most guys, in between your index and middle fingers. And if anybody at home has a baseball nearby, go ahead and try that and tell me it doesn't hurt the middle of those fingers. You need big hands to be able to throw a good splitter. And a lot of times that adds a lot of stress, especially on how hard guys throw these days, on that elbow and that UCL muscle.
Great point, yeah.
Burke couldn't scoop it over at first. Ben Wilcoxon keeps it alive with 2 outs.
Should be an infield hit for Wilcoxon there, I would think.
He runs well. That's a tough play for Pup on the backhand. And nothing yet on the scoreboard. We'll keep an eye out on it. All we know is Wilcoxon is at first.
I'm looking for him to go up with that 7th hit for the Beavers.
Yeah. Mike Zielinski, the
they went up with the air.
Baseball scorer here, Jimmy Johns Field, and he does go up with the air.
Throwing air on Pup.
I'm not sure who it's on. We don't get that information. I think that could be on Burke. I've talked to Mike about his scoring. It's a back and forth conversation we have all year long. I frequently give him crap on ones that I don't agree with, or we explain why he's right. And sometimes he says, if I think that guy should have made that play and he didn't, then I'll give him an error.
Yeah. And
I could see maybe Burke being expected to make that pick because we've seen him do it before. It's kind of a familiarity error, so to speak. But Pup also bounced it. So now 1-2 on Davis on the foul ball. So what do you say, E6 or E3? I got to write it down.
E6.
E6,
Yep,
okay.
I'm going throwing air on Pup. But personally, if it were up to me, I probably would have called that an infield hit. But now that they've got it up as an air, throwing air on Pup. Tough play, though.
The 1-2 outside. Just going back to our splitter discussion, how difficult it is to throw that pitch and the stress it adds. You know, like you brought up Casey Mize, it's a perfect example. A guy who has dealt with that elbow injury twice now in his career, still trying to work back from it and still throwing that splitter. Davis kind of fillets this one to left. Califoot on the run, leans in and makes the grab. Perhaps a run-saving catch as Wilcoxon has speed. He stays out on the base paths. The error doesn't do any damage. They still get the third out, and we'll stretch here from Jimmy John's Field. Take Me Out to the Ball Game, brought to you as always by Genesis Credit Union here on the USPBL Network.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
As we suspected, Greg Lokanen's day is done. Jesse Galindo takes over on the mound here in the bottom of the seventh. A good start for Lokanen in his fourth start. 6 innings of 2-run and 4-hit baseball. He did walk 4 batters and strike out 5, but 2 of those walks, I think, Teddy, they seemed like fatigue walks in his final 6th inning.
Absolutely, I agree. It was a real nice start from Greg Logan, and a quality start, and now he gives way to the 25-year-old native of Burbank, California, Jesse Galindo, the right-hander.
Lokanen threw 85 pitches.
This will be the 20th game for Galindo out of that Beaver bullpen, or I should say his 20th game overall. It'll be his 14th out of the bullpen, as he's also made 6 starts. He's 1-3 with a 4.57 ERA. And then we look at his pitch mix here. It's primarily 3 pitches, primarily the 4-seam curveball and the changeup, but he'll also mix in a 2-seamer and a slider.
Talked about it a couple times with Galindo. It's 4 distinct pitches, 4 grips, so to speak, that he'll hold the baseball with, but 6 or 7 different pitches that he'll throw because of the sidearm delivery and the kind of 3/4 slot arm delivery as well.
Yeah, interesting arm angle.
There's the over-the-top 3/4-ish curveball, 1-1. Pup, Acevedo, Marcoux, 9-1-2, due up. You kind of alluded to it, Teddy. Galindo, if there's a Swiss Army knife of a pitcher, it's Jesse Galindo. He'll start and go 5 or 6 deep. He'll come in relief and punch out 3 straight in his 1 inning of relief. He'll come on and get a save. He'll do a little bit of whatever you need him to.
Yeah, every team loves having a pitcher like this. A versatile pitcher leads the club 45 into 3rd innings this season.
Pup into center field. Davis is there for it. Galindo also leads the team in strikeouts with 62 on the season. Opponents hitting .260 against him. Where he's really improved from last year is the walks. Right around 3.5 walks per 9 innings, and the strikeouts is up to 12, doubled from last year. Has just become a much more premium strike thrower. And for Galindo, it's a little bit of that. The looking strike, and he gets plenty of swing and miss, too. He really mixes the switching of the arm slots pretty well. And with his delivery, the timing of it, it's kind of, it seems late as the hitter where you can see where it's coming from. Acevedo hard on the ground, foul to the third base side.
And when he drops down there to that sidearm slot like he did in that previous pitch, that can particularly be tough on right-handed hitters.
His delivery really looks the same until that arm starts to come out from behind his shoulder, until you start to see that right arm extension.
Exactly.
You don't know that as the hitter whether it's sidearm or over the top. Acevedo puts it out into left field. Kind of swing out in front of the curveball, but it works for a base hit.
Nice piece of hitting there by Acevedo on a 1-2 pitch. Went out and flared a curveball into left field.
That extends Acevedo's on-base streak to 13 straight games. For a guy who's played in 26, pretty good numbers. Righty on lefty, Marcoux looks at a ball low and away.
Acevedo 4 for 5 in stolen bases this season.
Marcoux, high fly ball, right side, foul for Bolin. He had to avoid Mike Rice for a second and reaches back and makes the catch.
Big second out here for Galindo and the Beavers to be able to retire the LBP later here in the USPBL, Nathan Marcoux.
Yep. It's big, too, for Galindo to get a lefty out. Has struggled against lefties this year. If there's any area of his game where he struggled, it's been that.
Yeah, lefties, significantly more success than righties against him.
First pitch to the righty, Burke, is fouled off the pad of Alex Crump.
Crump's took a couple of shots back there tonight.
This late in the season, those catchers really start to feel it. Every team tries their best to carry 2 catchers for the entire duration of the season to give these guys some breaks. Crump, one of 2 catchers. Luke Stevenson, the only other bench bat available for the Beavers tonight, and it looks like it might remain that way the rest of the season. Joe Burke, this is a hard liner to the gap in left. This is going to drop past Davis. He'll scoop it up in the warning track. Acevedo will be held at third. Joe Burke glides into second base and slides feet first for a 2-out double.
Good swing there by Burke, a double left center, and a nice job by Chris Davis to run that down and cut it off on the warning track before it got all the way to the wall. Likely prevented Acevedo from scoring, kept him at third base.
Yeah, I thought there was a chance that off the one hop that would get past the glove of Davis and down to the base of the wall, but he was able to get there in time, and you're absolutely right. That saves Acevedo from scoring a 2-out run, and I'll put some pressure on Schellenbarger to bring the 2 in scoring position home.
And I know you got a 5-run lead here, the Beavers, but I wonder if you, with first base open, are very cautious with Schellenbarger here.
I think absolutely, him being a lefty.
And you do have another lefty in Califoot on deck, but still, I mean, this is a dangerous spot. Schellenbarger could make this a 2-run game with 1 swing of the bat.
Absolutely, the power that Schellenbarger has, he can change this game in a hurry, and the Hoppers need that here in the bottom of the 7th. 2 on and 2 outs, trailing by 5 runs. Galindo comes set on the 0-1, works the first base side of the rubber. On the ground, right side, scooped up by Bolin. A race to the bag. Galindo wins it.
There you go.
And the 2-out double does no damage. The runner is stranded in scoring position. Acevedo at third, Burke at second. Galindo gets out of the 7th. We'll go to the 8th on the USPBL Network.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Danny Sullivan gets his second inning of work. It'll be the top of the 8th against 2, 3, and 4, Ramirez, Stubbs, and Bolin here on the US PBL Network, trailing by 5 runs. Hoppers need some defense. Rudy Ramirez leading things off in this 8th. He's reached in all 4 plate appearances. Walk, single, and an error in the 6th. He's scored in 3 of those 4. He'll lead it off against Sullivan on Firefighter Appreciation Night. Teddy, looking at the AccuWeather radar, I think we're going to be scot-free of this rain.
I think so. The decision to move this up an hour looks like it really helped us off, gave us plenty of a window here, and now that we're in the 8th inning, 12 more outs to go, I think we can do it.
It appears that the storm is going to get really bad over mid-Michigan, kind of the Lansing area, capital city here in the Mitten State. Around 9:30, that's still the way storms move, probably 45-ish minutes out of Metro Detroit, where we are here in Utica on the southeast part of the Mitten. So expect the rain around 10:30, maybe a little bit earlier. 1-0 to Ramirez. Sullivan works the middle of the rubber. Kind of that herky-jerky delivery and gets Ramirez way out in front of the curveball.
Yeah, nice job changing speeds there by Danny Sullivan. Rudy Ramirez, you could tell, was looking fastball.
That one skips in. Hughes unable to grab it. 2-1. Luke Drummond is over stretching in the Hoppers bullpen now. Ramirez took a big cut at that one. 2-2 now. Two. Fouled away.
Sullivan needed only 13 pitches in his first inning, and he only allowed 1 Beaver to reach, and that was on an error.
Slider in on the hands. Burke is there. He'll underhand flip. Ramirez close, but Sullivan steps on the bag first.
Nice job fielding his position by Danny Sullivan. Took the flip from Joe Burke and was just able to beat Rudy Ramirez to the bag. Got him by about half a step to maybe a full step.
Now the lefty J.D. Stubbs steps up. 0 for 3 with a walk. Sullivan has actually been a little bit better against left-handed hitting than right this year. Stubbs lifted the opposite way. Califoot was playing him deep, and that one just died off the barrel and shallow left for a base hit. Little looper puts Stubbs on and brings Bolin to the plate. Bolin a single and a walk in his last 2 appearances. 1 for 3 in total tonight. Out in front of the curveball, swing and a miss.
Danny Sullivan's got that curveball going on.
I think that mixed with his delivery is what makes it so effective.
I agree.
I mean, you watch the way the knee juts out and the back elbow, the right elbow. They kind of jut out at the same time. And just it's a very atypical delivery. But it works for him. And it's kept hitters off balance.
Yeah, not only have we not had any rain come through yet, knock on wood, I mean, it's actually been quite a humid night here. Very warm at Jimmy John's Field.
And the humidity, I think, is from last night's storm. Fastball in for a strike, 1-2.
Very well could be.
And it is going to get bad eventually tonight. That is a nasty color that I have not seen before on a weather radar. A mix of beet red and orange, a little bit of purple in there. Boland's going to get an infield single here.
Yep, Sullivan picked it up, didn't even throw it.
No chance on the one hopper that went 13 feet in front of home plate. Two on and one out now for Ray Hilbrick. He's had a good game tonight. 2 RBIs, 2 hits, a walk, and a run scored.
2 of the Beavers' 8 hits.
Yeah, you see his totals tonight and on the season. A home run, 11 walks, 10 ribbies. The 1-0. Inside, and Hilbrick, ooh. Thought that was going to hit him, but he just got out of the way in time.
Yeah, we talked about Hilbrick playing in the GLIAC for the Pride, Purdue Northwest earlier. He's from Sherville, Indiana, 23 years old, 6 foot, 190 pounds.
And Hilbrick scorched it foul the opposite way. Eighth inning on the USPBL Network, brought to you by Jimmy John's. Here from Jimmy John's Field. Hope you're enjoying tonight's game. We appreciate you watching on YouTube, Facebook, and My Michigan TV. The 2-1. Hard hit the opposite way. This is going to get all the way into the corner. This will score at least 1. Stubbs coming around. Boland's at third. Finally picking it up in the corner is Califoot. Boland gets the late stop sign. Pup fired it home, and that's a good decision by assistant manager Frankie Luxa as Boland crawls back to the bag. It's an RBI double for Ray Hilbrick, and he just keeps hitting tonight.
Yeah, that's right. 3rd hit of the night, 3rd RBI of the night for Ray Hilbrick. Now 8-2 Beavers here at the top of the 8th. With that 3 RBI night, Hilbrick now up to 13 this season.
And he's hit to all fields. He's hit to right field once, left field twice. All well struck, just good swings. Ortega goes the opposite way. This one is hooking foul, though.
Speaking of good swings, Christian Ortega all night long.
Yep. He's had 3 good ones, including the grand slam in the 5th.
Very well could have had a 2 home run game right now.
Have to give credit to Boland for staying on the base paths and not getting out somehow. He listened to his assistant manager's stop sign and got back to third. And
it was a late stop sign, but
it was.
Right. Great job by him picking him up. That's
I think it was the right decision, too.
Yeah.
Even in an 8-2 game with only 1 out, you have a little bit more leeway, but
still, yeah.
Purely from that play's perspective, whether Boland was going to be safe or out at home, I think that was a good call.
Yeah, I agree. I think he would have been out, too.
1-1, and chopped foul. So Sullivan went pop out, fly out, error, pop out in the 7th. In the 8th, it's been ground out, single, single, double. Run scored. Ortega, the 5th batter to the plate, and only 1 out. Drummond's still getting loose in the bullpen, but he's not throwing yet. So Sullivan probably has this 8th inning no matter what.
And we do have some double barrel action, or at least one pitcher throwing, maybe double barrel down in the Beaver bullpen, too.
If history is any indication, after Jesse Galindo comes on, it's going to be 1 inning each the rest of the way for the Beavers relievers. 2-2. And Maddox at third. Now he'll throw to first. He watched Bolin back to the bag in a nice play to hold the runners and still get the out.
Yeah, more difficult play than that probably looks for Maddox at third base. He had to field that on about a waist-high bounce, and then he had to look Bolin back and then throw it across to get Ortega, and did it all. Nice job by Maddox.
Marcus Judd steps up. Hit by a pitch back in the 5th. 0 for 3 besides that with 1 strikeout. Swings and fouls it right back to the screen. If there wasn't a screen, that was coming to our booth, partner.
That's right. The protective netting prevented it, but it was coming right here.
Obviously, it's a good thing they have the netting. But some days, man, you just wish.
Yep, I remember like Major League Baseball 10 years ago when there wasn't as much netting. Yeah.
Just wish one could sneak through. Break the laws of physics.
It happens from time to time.
This one's back up the middle in fair territory this time, and it will score 2. Judd racing around first. It won't score 2, actually. Hilbrick gets the stop sign. Judd goes to second. Miscommunication between the Hoppers defense and an RBI double for Marcus Judd with 2 outs.
First hit of the night for Marcus Judd. That's got to feel good for him. And picking up his RBI, that is RBI number 21. Despite only having the 1 home run, 21 RBIs. Pretty nice total for Davenport, Florida's Marcus Judd.
So Judd raced to second on the throw that came home. Surprised to see Hilbrick get the stop sign, and maybe that's a product of the score. Curveball, and Crump took it. Pretty good spot, 0-1.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar stop sign to the one they gave Bolin.
Yeah. I thought for sure Hilbrick would score. I mean, a base hit from second. Hilbrick is not slow. Now Crump jumps on that curveball, and this will score 1. Now Judd being waved around, stumbles a little bit at third, but he will score standing up. It's a 2-run single for Alex Crump, who could use that.
RBIs number 2 and 3 for Alex Crump, and it is 11-2. The Beavers opening it up here in the top of the 8th. A 4-run 8th inning.
Talked about this being a must-win game for the Beavers. 18-21 in 3 games out of second place to their opponents on the other side of the diamond, the Hoppers. And they'll gain a game here if everything remains the same, barring a historical comeback. In the bottom of the 8th or 9th.
You know, we were talking about earlier how it's been some tough sledding at the plate for these Beaver catchers this season. So nice to see Crump come through with a 2 RBI single there.
Sullivan steps off. Wilcox in for the 5th time tonight. This one's right to third and caught. Couple hard hit balls off of Danny Sullivan. He concedes 5 hits in the inning and 4 runs. Wilcoxon hit it hard as well, but lined it right to Maddox to end the top half of the 8th. Hoppers trailing big time, down by 9 as we go to the bottom of the 8th here on the USPBL Network.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and discover the funner you hidden within you. The you that doesn't think about adult things and stuff. Ashley, I don't want to hear anything about your car registration when we're at Dave & Buster's.
Okay.
The you want to be. Let the Dave & Buster's method illuminate you. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
Fifth Third Extra Time helps you do you better. So kick back and relax. You have extra time to avoid overdraft fees. Fifth Third Extra Time. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Probably one reliever per inning the rest of the way for the Beavers as they now lead it 11-2. Nick Bonk takes over for Jesse Galindo in the 8th. He'll face Califoot, Flores, and Hughes, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, with a big cushion.
Bonk, the 23-year-old native of Buffalo Grove in Illinois, played at Northern Illinois. Nice size, big young man, 6'6", 245-pound right-hander. Let me give you his pitching arsenal here. 4-pitch mix, 4-seam fastball, slider, curveball, changeup for Nick Bonk.
Guy who was thrown pretty well this year. The stuff is better than the numbers will support. A 4.41 ERA and 16 1/3. You want proof of the stuff? 3 walks, 19 strikeouts. Very big ratio there. The fewest walks per 9 of any Beavers pitcher this season.
Over 6-1. You're doing something right.
Beavers have to be feeling good heading into the rest of this weekend right now. Especially bouncing back after the 4-1 no offense loss yesterday. 11 runs on 12 hits tonight. 2 in the first, 4 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and 4 more again here in the 8th.
Yeah, about as different from last night as it could be. Manager John Dombrowski probably very happy.
First pitch to Califoot. Fastball 94. Bonk with velocity. Paints the outside corner perfectly, 0-1.
94 on the outside black. That'll play just about anywhere.
Califoot. Bonk went right back to it, and Califoot swung and missed, 0-2. So tomorrow these Hoppers play again. They've got the last place Unicorns. And then the Beavers have the first place Mammoths in a single game on Saturday. Out into center field. That's going to drop in front of Chris Davis and behind Ben Wilcox and Joey Califoot. His second hit in back-to-back plate appearances.
Kind of sawed him off, got him in on the handle a little bit, but Califoot strong enough to able to get that out in shallow center field for a base hit. Second hit of the night.
Brings up Anthony Flores. Struck out in the second, popped out in the 4th, hit by a pitch in the 6th.
This is the 14th game of the season, by the way, for Bonk. You talked about the 16 in the 3rd innings, over 13 games prior to this, one of which he started.
So looking at the rest of the way for the Beavers, the road to maybe a 1-game bye in the playoffs. It's far-fetched, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Likely a win tonight makes them 19-21 and within 2 games of the Hoppers. Helps to beat the team you're chasing. Then they've got the first place Mammoths on Saturday. Then the following Thursday they play the Unicorns. And a couple days later on September 1st they'll play the Mammoths one more time. There's the look at the standings. So, I mean, the Beavers probably have to win out to have any shot.
You're right, but tonight, if this holds up, certainly helps. It is tough having to play the Woolly Mammoths twice in their final 3 games, too.
Absolutely. But that's a Mammoths team who's firmly in first, likely not going to lose that with the Hoppers in line for a loss tonight.
Right.
That's a Mammoths team that's probably going to rest some guys. Probably throw out some bullpen relievers.
That's a good point.
Rely on their starters too much. 3-1 on Flores. Fouls it away, 3-2. Now, the interesting thing is, it's atypical in the road to the playoffs here than perhaps any other sport because a lot of times the first place team does rest their guys. Now, for one, there's only 19 guys on the roster. Most teams carry 2 bench bats, if that.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of rest you can do for your position players. You're limited to what position your bench bats can play. But also in the fact that the week before the championship, the weekend of September 1st and 2nd, we're going to play those 2 days, September 1st and 2nd, and that's it, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. So then it's 6 days, perhaps 7 if you're the championship team, if you're the first place, which the Mammoths are, before you're going to play and see live baseball. So you're getting that rest no matter what. You don't necessarily need to build upon that rest in the final games leading up to the playoffs as you typically would in some other leagues. Served out into right, and that's a good catch by Hildbrick. to prevent a base hit.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And, with a sport like baseball, when you have, like you said, we're saying, the 6, possibly even 7 days built off, I think that's plenty. If anything, you're almost concerned, is it too long?
Right, exactly.
They almost go the other way with it, yeah.
And I've asked managers and players about that. Some, with the way it works, the 3 and 4 seed will play each other on Thursday.
Yep.
The winner of that will play the 2 seed on Friday. The winner of that will play the 1 seed on Saturday. So you could maybe make an argument, okay, maybe you'd rather be the 2 seed. So you have one less day off, 1 day pre-possible championship, live at-bats, live pitching, live run. You get in your routine. You get back to kind of how you're used to. Because 6 or 7 days off, they never get that here in this league all summer. So it's tough to get used to going into the biggest game of the season.
It is interesting. It's something that we've heard some people say around the USPBL, is that there's almost would rather be that 2 seed than the 1 seed, which is just kind of funny to think about, because you just think about it, you're like, oh, of course I'd rather be the 1 seed. But then you think about it, and you're like, there are some advantages to being that 2 seed and having that game under your belt.
And so with the standings where they are now, I actually asked Taylor Jellikowski, manager of the Mammoths, what he'd rather be, and he didn't take a breath. He didn't hesitate. 1 seed, boom, right away. And I said, okay, why? Well, that's 7 whole days of your hitters not seeing live pitching. You're going to need to score runs. But he also brought up the fact that that's 7 whole days of resting your arms. So you've got a guy like Garrett Martin, who's been a league best pitcher all year.
That's a glass half full approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You throw Garrett Martin out there for 2 or 3 innings as Hughes goes down looking. You throw Garrett Martin out there for 2, maybe 3 innings. You can use your entire bullpen the rest of the way, 1 pitcher at a time, 1 new look at a time, a different pitch mix every single time up for the hitters, and keep the opposing team off balance.
You're right. I mean, mixing up that pitching in the postseason, we've seen time and time again in the postseason, power pitching is what wins in the playoffs. So that could set up really well, particularly for a team like the Mammoths.
That one gets away from Crump. Heading down to second is Califoot. Wild pitch with 2 outs. Maddox at the plate. 0-for-2 with a walk. The Beavers, the champions from last year, they did it as the 2 seed, but it certainly didn't look like, kind of per our conversation at least, it certainly didn't look like the Unicorns, who were the 1 seed and had all that rest, had to kick off any rust. They put up 6 runs and had a couple of home runs. They had some good pitching. It was a very fun and competitive game. But it's worth noting the 2 seed Beavers won that year. Strike 2, fastball dotted low and away on Maddox.
91 low and away. Real nice pitch there from Bonk.
It has only been Beavers or Unicorns as champions in the league this year. Mammoths have a couple runner-ups. The Hoppers were runner-ups in 2021. Time called late as Bonk makes his delivery.
Call a pitch clock violation.
And I'm not sure what Bonk is.
Bonk, I think, is signaling he feels the pitch clock should have been reset at 15 seconds. And it looks like the umpires are going to discuss it now.
And I don't think we're going to change anything. Nope, they do go back. So it is no pitch clock violation. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Clock evidently should have been reset at 20 seconds, and it was not, so no pitch clock violation, no ball.
Bonk is not a guy who runs it very close to the pitch clock typically anyways. Another 1-2, swing and a miss. Didn't matter much. Strike 3, out 3. Back-to-back Ks for Bonk to end the 8th. We go to our last 9th. Beavers well in front, 11-2 here on the USPBL Network.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and discover the funner you hidden within you. The you that doesn't think about adult things and stuff. Ashley, I don't want to hear anything about your car registration when we're at Dave & Buster's.
Okay.
The you want to be. Let the Dave & Buster's method illuminate you. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
Luke Drummond gets the 9th, trailing 9 runs. 11-2, he'll face the top of the order for the Beavers, Davis, Ramirez, and Stubbs, barring any pinch hitters, which I doubt we'll see because the only bench bat is the catcher, Luke Stevenson. Drummond taking over for Danny Sullivan, who went 2 innings, no walks or strikeouts, but did give up 4 runs on 5 hits, all of them in his 2nd inning of work in the 8th. And if there was any doubt before the 8th inning, it has been relieved as to who is in the driver's seat to win this game. It's the Beavers.
Drummond, the 4th pitcher of the night for the Diamond Hoppers, 24 years old, native of Temple Terrace in Florida, played collegiately at Division III Birmingham Southern College in Alabama. And it is a 5-pitch mix for Drummond. 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, slider, curveball, and a changeup.
So you see the standings again, like we talked about. Unicorns and Beavers, the 2 on the bottom. As we mentioned, the only 2 teams to hoist a trophy in the history of the USPBL. Unicorns have 3 championships. The Beavers have 2. The Unicorns had 2 in a row before the Beavers won it last season. And the Mammoths and Hoppers trying to be the 3rd team to lift that trophy. Mammoths have been the best team all season long. They've been carried by their offense. The Hoppers, I would argue, have had maybe the best balance between pitching and offense, but the Mammoths have just far and away been the best offense in the league, both for power and for average. They've been one of the best in the field defensively as well.
Then the Unicorns pitching hung in there, early on in the season, and then it kind of went away. But then Andrew Huffman picked it back up last night, too. So the Unicorns have shown that they can have some pitching at times.
Yeah, their pitching really carried them to about a 500 or so record for the entirety of the first half of the season and a little bit past the All-Star break. And then the offense struggled and the pitching leveled out like we talked about, water finding its level a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, there was at one point for the Unicorns, out of the 7 or 8 pitchers on their staff, all but one guy had an ERA below 4.
Right.
That's just not a level you can maintain. Davis swings and misses at the payoff pitch, a fastball up, and for the 2nd time tonight, he strikes out.
That was the 4th time tonight Chris Davis has led off an inning. As obviously he gets the 1st inning being the leadoff man, but it's just interesting how it's worked out 3 more times since then, too.
In total, 0 for 5 with a walk for Davis tonight. And struggles still continue. We mentioned he was 1 for 11 coming into tonight. And if there's a guy that the Beavers cannot afford to have maybe go missing at the plate right before the playoffs, it's Chris Davis.
Yeah, they're hoping he just gets this out of his system and finds it again before early September.
Now, knowing Davis, he's just going to be happy with the win tonight should the Beavers get there.
Oh, yeah, terrific young man, yeah.
And he's a leader on this team, a captain on the All-Star team. But I thought it was really interesting talking to him. He's a guy you can go to ask how he feels about the team going into the playoffs. And he kind of, tilted his head and sighed, lifted the shoulders a little bit. We're getting there. What he said really stuck out, and I think it's a perfect way to describe the Beavers season this year. He said, when we're hitting, we're not pitching. And when we're pitching, we're not hitting.
And tonight, they actually have done both.
They did both at the same time. Yeah. And it shows you how good they can be when they do get a little bit of both. Greg Luukkonen through 6 sharp innings, only giving up 2 runs. The relievers have done well so far. A big 5th inning and a big 8th inning from this offense. This is the ceiling. This is where they can be. They just haven't been there consistently.
We're seeing all the potential tonight, how good this team can be, and then it goes back to that Ortega grand slam when the complexion of this game really started to change.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Drummond, and J.D. Stubbs the last chance to add any offense for the Beavers in what's already been a big offensive game like we talked about.
Stubbs had a hit his last time up, 1 for 4 tonight.
One off of the home plate umpire as it skips in the fastball at 91 for Drummond.
And Drummond's been good this season. This is his 19th game, and it's be his 15th relief appearance. So most of his work's come out of the bullpen. 2 and 3, 3.86 ERA, and 37 in the 3rd innings. And now that's an even 38 with the 2 outs here tonight. So he's been pretty solid this season.
Whit Hughes kindly takes a mound visit after the home plate umpire got dinged. So again, join us tomorrow, Friday night fireworks, unicorns and hoppers, 7:05. Barring any weather, you never know here in Michigan.
That's right.
We're going to get hit pretty hard, it seems like, tonight. And again, no doubt that our grounds crew will be able to clean up the field and get us ready for tomorrow. Pink out the park for 80s night between these Beavers and the Mammoths on Saturday. And Sunday is Turtle Ninja Day, presented by Fairy Tale Entertainment. A good weekend of baseball here at Jimmy John's Field. And a 4-pitch walk to Stubbs. Not quite out of the 9th inning yet for the Hoppers. Boland's had a good night tonight. Pair of singles, a pair of runs, and a walk. Nobody in the Beavers bullpen. That means it might be Nick Bogg for the 9th. Boland fouls the first pitch back. 72-mile-an-hour curveball from Drummond.
Would not quite count as a save for Bonk. Got to get the final 3 to get the save. So he'd be fall 1 inning short of that. But I agree. I think he's going to go back out there too.
This is the way that Diesel has handled his bullpen all year long. He really tries his hardest to spread out the wealth as far as innings and experience between his relievers. Sometimes with just the way the schedule can go and with the way the arms can go. If you're a reliever in this league, you can go 6, 7, 8, 9 days without making an appearance, and then you come on and maybe get an inning, a little bit more. Diesel has done a really nice job. If he gets a good start out of his starter, if that starter goes 5 or 6, it's usually 1-1-1-1-1 the rest of the way. Swing and a miss from Boland. Something came flying off there. I don't know what that was.
Something came off of his helmet. Yeah, Boland's looking at it.
And now everybody's trying to figure out what it is. It's apparently nothing important, so we'll keep playing 1 and 2. Looks like in slow motion when you see like a football or a hockey player get hit hard and a tooth comes out. That's what it looked like. 1-2 up the middle. Tough play for Pup, but he's over there to make it nicely.
Nice play, Pup.
Flips to his second baseman, Acevedo. The putout goes 6-4 for the 3rd out. Drummond gets a couple of strikeouts. Last chance for the Hoppers. Down 9 in the 9th when we come back.
With a transforming world, we can see how drastically the world is heading towards automation. And so, we need 24/7 surveillance and security systems for our homes and businesses to avoid any theft or breach of privacy. JARBCOM brings the installation of security cameras to the tip of your fingers with our state-of-the-art mobile app. JARBCOM also provides surveillance monitoring of your entire property with flexible options that offer a dependable solution to be scaled to fit any domestic or commercial need. Contact JARPCOM today for a free estimate at 800-369-0374 or look us up on the web at jarpcom.com.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Ninth inning, 11-2 Beavers. It is actually not going to be Nick Bonk getting the ninth for the Beavers. It'll be the left-hander out of New York, Mike Esposito. 95, 96, 97 with the fastball. A whole lot of fastballs and a whole lot of success for Mike this season.
Esposito, he of that high 90s fastball, 23, almost 24 years old, from Port Washington, New York. Played for the South Carolina Gamecocks in the SEC. Only 5'10", 190 pounds, but he's still able to generate that 95 to 97 mile per hour velocity. And let's see what those secondary offerings are from Esposito here. Off the fastball, he's also got a slider and a changeup. So it's a power fastball and then 2 off-speed offerings off of that.
Esposito has been one of the most interesting, intriguing, and confusing pitchers this year. Obviously, from the left side poses an advantage. That high-velocity fastball, the slider and changeup mixed off of that. We really don't ever see the changeup. The slider is once maybe every 20 pitches. It is fastball, 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 fastball. Here it is. Hit it. And what's been so surprising is that nobody is able to. He's conceded 6 hits all year long. An opposing batting average of 102 is one of the best in the league. Not only are people not getting hits, he's striking out batters at an astonishing league best 19 strikeouts per 9 innings.
35 strikeouts and 16 2/3.
He does walk a decent amount. 14 walks. That means 8 walks per 9. But I've asked everybody, and no one can figure it out. It's obviously a good fastball. It's got life. It rises in the zone, which no fastball in reality actually rises unless someone pitches from the submarine. But with the spin and the angle that it comes in to the hitter, it would appear as if the fastball is going up a ramp to home plate.
Yes.
Now, it's not actually doing that, but it appears that way. And those are the tough fastballs to hit, and that's exactly what Esposito has. But when it's fastball, 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 and the best hitters in the league are hunting fastballs, guys like Joe Burke, Fox Liam. Obviously, Chris Davis doesn't get to bat against his own team, but Lucas Gooden, Nick Pastor, Livingston Morris, guys who are hunting fastballs still just haven't been able to time it. That just goes to show you how good it has been.
Yeah, guys like Gooden and Pastor, some of those better hitters, they can definitely still handle a fastball, even if it is 95, 97. So that is the importance of Esposito here, developing and incorporating that slider and maybe even that changeup more often.
And there we see that slider, that pup skied foul. And I think it was an interesting reason, maybe why people aren't able to hit this fastball is because of the wildness, too. Right there.
There's a little
right
Randy Johnson, Mitch Williams kind of wild thing about it.
Yeah, and it's part of it is when you're the hitter and you know that there's a fastball coming and you see a fastball out of the hand, I think you lean to just swing. And not often, I shouldn't say not often, but not all the time is it in the hitting zone. Pup swings right through the high one, above the zone, and strikeout number 1 for Esposito.
Exactly. Just going to say, the hitters oftentimes tell us the toughest pitch to lay off is that high fastball. And like you said, when you can go up there against a guy and hunt fastballs, it's sometimes even tougher to lay off it.
Yeah, I think he's thrown the fastball so much that it's become helpful to him where everybody's geared up for it. Everybody's keyed up for it, but he's not throwing it somewhere where the barrel's going to be. And they're swinging and missing through it.
Right, yeah, it's frequently up above the strike zone, but it's working. It's still getting swings and misses on it.
One 1-0 on Acevedo. And laid on the fastball. And you could see his face. He said, ooh, he wanted that one. He was just a little bit late. When you see it go directly back over home plate, That means a guy is on it, but just the slightest bit late from barreling that thing up and putting it in play. Now the 1-1. Slider up and in. Good eye by Acevedo to lay off that.
Acevedo, one of the few international players in this league, from Caracas in Venezuela, 23 years old.
Moved to Florida from Venezuela.
Yep, played at Weber International University in Florida, an NAIA school.
Came here at age 14 with the intentions of playing baseball. Has now turned pro just a few years later. And he'll work a walk here. 95 up and away. Ball 4. Now Marcoux, lefty on lefty. Mentioned 6 hits that Esposito has given up. 3 to lefties, 3 to righties. So technically he's better against right-handed hitting, but he's just good overall. It's that difference isn't much.
This will be a fun matchup right here, Esposito and Marcoux. One of the league's best pitchers and one of the league's best hitters.
Yeah, I think what we can expect is probably just Marcoux to take till he gets a strike at least.
Yeah.
He's going to force Esposito to throw him a pitch in the strike zone. And there it is.
You called it, exactly.
I think Marcoux was taking all the way. Now we'll see if it changes in the 1-1.
Yeah.
Swings right through it. 94 in the middle of the strike zone, and Marcoux just couldn't jump on it.
Either go down and away with that slider or up with the fastball.
Fastball in on the hands. Maybe broke his bat to second for 1, and it goes away. Into left field, Acevedo will go to third. Marcoux's not going to push it with that hamstring. So now runners on the corners with the throwing error from Marcus Judd. 1 out. So first error of the night for the Beavers. And this is interesting, Teddy. Looking at the scoreboard, we're missing an error. There was that one for the Hoppers on the throw from Pup over to Burke a couple innings ago that I think Mike maybe changed his.
Yep, I think he changed it.
Burke pops out to the catcher Crump, who made a nice running grab over there. Now 2 down. Last chance with Bryant Schellenbarger.
Yeah, that's a good call. I noticed that myself, and I'm like, they flipped it back up to 1 error up there. So
yeah.
I think the Pup one they did change to a hit, which, in my opinion,
single,
we
yep.
said it at the time was a right call,
Yeah.
I think.
Schellenbarger singled his first time up. Nothing doing since. 1 for 4 in total tonight. So after the error change, it's 11 runs on 12 hits for the Beavers. This one to first should do it. Weird bounce for Bolin. He'll underhand flip to Esposito, and that's the ball game. The Beavers hit it around 12 times for 11 runs, and they get some good pitching finally to match the good hitting. An 11-2 win. Teddy, big win for the Beavers tonight. They get 1 game closer, now 2 back of the Hoppers, just trying to get 1 day by in the playoffs.
Really nice win for the Beavers, responding from the loss to the Unicorns last night and also gaining a game on the Diamond Hoppers. You know, Greg Loganin, he was very sharp tonight. And then offensively, Christian Ortega, Raymond Hilbrick, Malik Bolin. There were a few Beavers that stepped up. Real nice all-around win for Birmingham Bloomfield.
Beavers 11 runs on 12 hits, 1 miscue. The Hoppers 2 runs on 7 hits, an error themselves. The Hoppers left 11 guys on the base path. So did the Beavers, but they also brought around 11. Beavers win this one 11-2. We've got the post-game interview coming up after this here on the Year's PBL Network.
these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier health care and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities.
Where good neighbors do great things.
Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back inside our USPBL broadcast booth here at Jimmy John's Field. The Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers beat the Eastside Diamond Hoppers 11-2 tonight. 11 runs on 12 hits and 1 error for the Beavers. The 2 runs on 7 hits and 1 error for the Diamond Hoppers. And for the Beavers, you know, it all started with the pitching tonight. Greg Lokinen with 6 innings, quality start, picked up the win. And then offensively, Christian Ortega, he's our player of the game, hit a grand slam. Send it down to Christian Ortega and Brendan right now.
Down here on the field of the USPBL Network, Jimmy John's Field, with our player of the game, Ray Hilbrick for the Beavers. Ray, you guys dominate this one, 11-2, the win. Let's start with the hitting and the pitching. Talked with Chris Davis earlier today about maybe just kind of what's been the struggle for you guys, just back and forth, wins and losses, not really able to find a groove. He said you guys hadn't been hitting when you were pitching, you hadn't been pitching when you were hitting. You got both tonight. How big is that just kind of for the spirits in the locker room and in that clubhouse?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we come off of a game yesterday where we only had 2 or 3 hits the entire game, and then to have everything, all guns firing this game, it's a good bounce back game, and I think we're getting hot right when we need to into the playoffs.
And so for you, 3 for 4 tonight, a run scored. You also had a walk in there, 4 hard hit balls, 3 of them for hits, 1 of them for an out. Just start with the hard hits. It's clearly swinging the bat well, seeing the bat well. You went to both sides of the field as well. Just feeling good tonight?
Yeah, feeling good all over. You know, just hunting the fastball, really making sure I'm on time for the fastball, and then just adjusting off speed. And then just relying on my teammates, you know, to push me and help me with, you know, what they're seeing at the plate as well too.
3 RBIs in the game for Ray as well in the 11-2 win. I want to go back to Chris Davis, who we just mentioned. It's been a struggle for him of late. He's won for his last 15 over the last 4 games. We talked about it in the broadcast. You're the only other 300 hitter on the team. Seems like you've really been able to pick him up lately and pick up your other teammates. That's kind of made you guys successful, and you in particular. What is it about watching another guy struggle and working around that as the other teammate picking him up?
Well, Chris is the captain of our team, and he's really the best leader. And you kind of go off his example. Even when he's not, you know, doing the best, he's still our most consistent hitter. And you know, even when he goes 0 for 4, he's still cheering you on. You know, if you get a nice double or whatever, he's patting you on the back. So he's never one to sort of grovel. So, you know, you just kind of have to live up to that example.
So for you guys, big win. You get within 2 games. So speak of the devil, Chris Davis with a light shower as we're expecting more rain in about an hour or so here.
Yeah.
But so big win for you guys in the standings. You're now not out of second place, not out of that first round bye just yet. How important was it for you guys going into today to get this win?
Yeah, it was really important. Like I said before too, I think we're getting hot right at the right time. And that was sort of what our goal was this year, at least to get to second place. That way, when the playoffs come, you know, we don't have a big layover like first place does, and we can just play a couple games, stay hot like we are now, and stay in the groove. So yeah, that's pretty much our plan.
Well, congratulations on the big win and a game well played. Ray Hilbrick, our player of the game here on the USPBL Network. We'll see you tomorrow, Unicorns and Hoppers, 7:05 here from Jimmy John's Field.